we've had quite the ordeal lately. Rest in peace, our good fluffy friend, Doctaro. He deserved better. Much better. I planned on taking a nap, but the boat was really shaking bad. Who's on the boat? I gave up sleeping and went up on the deck. There I was welcomed by the shining sun and a strong sea breeze. I'm curious who this is. Is this going to be, Enche? Hacksaw had been up doing some stretches on the deck. It is, by the way. He must have a lot of time on his hands, too. After all, it's going to be several hours before we reach Nijima. It would have only taken a couple dozen minutes by plane, but there was the chance that the Nijima airport was under the Sumadera family's web. The harbor would probably be the same. For that reason, I had obtained a boat that would let me land while avoiding the harbor, no questions asked. I bumped into a cheery boat captain, plied him generously, and he decided to help me out, amused. I mean, for all you know, he's radioing the Sumaderas like, fuck yeah, I got them on the boat, we're gonna make bank, right? Still gonna be a while.
さっき船長に聞いたら、あと2時間はたっぷりかかるそうです。
I asked the captain. It sounds like it'll take a full 2 hours more.
贅沢は言えねえですな。
Well, beggars can't be choosers. And she's got to be on the run for like a year and a half or more, right? She's got a long-ass time to go if she wants to not have the Sumaderas suck out all of her inheritance. And probably send her to some obscure prison complex for their own amusement. I mean, weird Japanese families, am I right? The weather sure is nice. Feels like I'll burn.
甲板で読書ですか?
Oh, gonna read on the deck?
本が傷みますよ。
You'll damage your book. Alex apparently thought this was because I was clutching Maria One-chan's diary under my arm. I'd been reading it half asleep, which is why I'd come back up still clutching it.
どうですか?
Oh, how's it going?
マリアさんの日記からロッケン島の真相は探れそうですかい?
Think you'll be able to find the truth of Rockenjima from Maria-san's diary? That's comfy.
あの島で何があったかなんてどこまで調べても仮説でしかない。
No matter how much I investigate what happened on that island, it won't make for anything more than a
メッ
theory.
セージボトルもお姉ちゃんの日記も魔女が闊歩するおとぎ話が記されているだけで
There's no truth written in the message bottle or One-chan's diary, just a fairy tale with a witch walking
お手上げ
around.
よ。
I'm stuck.
新島での関係者からの聞き込みに期待するしかないですな。
Well, it looks like you got nothing to look forward to except questioning those involved on Nijima. If you think the Sumaderas aren't gonna watch where the fuck you're going and don't have anyone watching the island, you gotta be out of your mind, right?
リッチハンターどもが散々質問攻めにしてるでしょうから、きっと真事実なんて見つからないわよ。
I imagine the witch hunters have showered them with questions over and over. I'm pretty sure I won't find any new facts.
そこまで期待してないのに、半日も船旅をして新島に行こうなんて、実に気まぐれなことです。
So even though your hopes are that low, you're willing to spend half a day on a trip to a boat to Nijima anyway. Talk about fickle. Well,
調べたっていう自己満足のための旅みたいなものよ。
it's like a journey of self-satisfaction, so I can say I investigated.
本気で12年前の真実が解き明かせるなんて、私も甘えてるつもりはないわ。
So naive as to seriously think the truth of 12 years ago will be revealed.
その自己満足が終わったら、どうするつもりで?
And when you're done with your self-satisfaction trip, what do you do next?
さあ、
Who knows?
考えてないわ。
Haven't thought about it.
新島に行って関係者に話を聞いて、
I'll go to Nijima, ask some people who were involved.
最後に六軒島に行って花でも捧げたら、私の旅はおしまいね。
And then, after going to Rockenjima in the end and leaving some flowers, my journey will be over. Several days have already passed since this journey began. After being told by Berncastel on the roof of the building to search for the truth of 12 years ago, I'd left on a journey like trying to grasp a cloud. At the time, I felt as though I'd experienced something mystical and had the feeling I might be able to grasp some kind of miracle at the end of this journey. But after several days have passed, my excitement's died down. On that day, when I stood on the roof of that skyscraper, my heart was completely cornered and dead. So I'd wanted from the bottom of my heart to be released from the cage of my body and rise into the sky. And I'd crossed the fence in order to die. Maybe experiencing the desire to die and actually stepping forward, throwing my body down, caused some kind of mystical experience in my head, making me think I received a message from a witch. The excitement from my jump lessened over time, and the more I came back to my senses, the more this journey lost its meaning. But that was like a sick jump, dude. But I didn't even consider suspending this journey just because of that. If I stop this journey, it'll mean acknowledging that the message from the witch was an illusion, and I felt as though that meant throwing away the promise the witch made. Any chance that someone from my family might come back. So because it was hard to believe those events were an illusion, I've continued on my journey. I don't seriously believe the journey will change anything. It's even up to me when to end this journey. It's up to me to choose where the final destination is, and in the end, the journey is only for my self-satisfaction. I was getting paid like $500 a day, right? Self-satisfaction.
聞こえは悪いですが、そいつが実は人生ってやつではないかと思ってます。
Well, it sounds bad when you say it, but I think that's actually what life's all about. Self-satisfaction. Yeah, possibly.
傭兵家業で視線をくぐった末に至った答えだったなら、なかなか味わい深いじゃない。
Oh, if that's the answer you've reached after hovering over the line between life and death in the mercenary business, that's probably pretty deep.
茶化さんでください。
Don't take it so lightly.
俺が言いたいのは、自己も何も自分を認められるのは世の中で自分だけしかいないってことです。
So what he's trying to say is, the only one who can acknowledge you in this world is yourself. Okay. You're the only who can acknowledge your success or happiness. That kind of makes sense. Amakusa continued, stretching as he spoke. In an irritatingly fresh way, hearing it to me told as though from a teacher made me instinctively want to resist, but what he was saying was extremely sensible.
そうかもね。
It may be true.
人は誰かに認められたくて努力をするわ。
People work hard when they want to be acknowledged by
多く
someone.
の場合、それは親ね。
In most cases, that someone's their
親
parents.
に褒められたくて子供は努力を覚える。
Children learn how to work hard because they want to be praised by
だ
their
から
parents.
私は覚えなかったわけだけど。
Although that's why I never learned.
すんません。そういうつもりで言ったんじゃないです。
Sorry, that's not quite how I meant it. Oh?
俺が言いたいのは、自己満足大いに結構ってことなんです。
I'm trying to say there's nothing wrong with
誰に褒
self-satisfaction.
められたって、それを納得できなきゃ意味がない。
No matter who praises you, it's meaningless unless you can accept it.
逆を返しゃ、誰に褒められなくったって、自分が納得できりゃそれでいいってこ
A
とです
rock。and Jima welcome. Thrown right off a cliff. Rest in peace, Beato. Turning it around even if no one praises you, that doesn't matter as long as you can accept it.
自己満足と向上心って矛盾するから、普通は悪いことって教えられるわよね。
Self-satisfaction tends to contradict a desire to improve oneself, so we're usually taught that it's bad.
天草の論法はなんだか新鮮よ。
Somehow your argument seems like a pretty fresh take on it, Amakusa.
誰かに認めてほしくて、だけれど何を努力すればいいのかわからないのが人の世の苦しみです。
The anguish of the human world comes when you want someone to acknowledge you, but you don't know what it is you should be striving for. Oh, that is unpleasant.
俺にもそういう頃があった。
I had a time like that too. Oh?
誰かに認められたくて、でも何を認められればいいかわからなくて。
I wanted to be acknowledged by someone, but I didn't know what I wanted them to acknowledge
そ
about
し
me.
て何をどこまで努力すれば誰に認めてもらえるかわからなくて。
And since I didn't know what to strive for, how far I should go to be
随分
acknowledged,
と無茶苦茶をやってきたもんです。
I did a bunch of crazy stuff.
それで天草が至った答えが自己満足だっていう
And
の。
the answer you reached was self-satisfaction.
聞こえは悪いがそういうことです。
Sounds bad, but that's how it is.
我ただ樽を知るってやつですわ。
Rich is the one who is content with what they are, they say.
俺がこれでいいと思った人生なら、それはとやかく言われてどうこうってもん
And
じ
if
ゃな
I'm
い。
satisfied with my life, it doesn't matter what other people
エンジェ
say.
さんの人生もこの旅も同じです。
It's the same for your life and for this
エン
journey.
ジェさん以外の誰にもとやかく言う権利なんてない。
No one has any right to criticize you other than yourself, NJ-san.
旅の意味と成果はエンジェさんだけが決める。
You're the only one who determines the meaning and results of your journey.
エンジェさんにとって有意義な旅になったなら、それで十分なんですよ。
If it's been meaningful for you, then that's more than enough.
あんたってチャラけてる男だと思ってたけど、たまに変なこと言い出すのね。
I took you for a flippant ladies man, but you really do say weird things every once in a while.
そういうこと、たまに言うとモテると思ってるでしょ。
This guy, Bart would give this guy a 1 out of 2, 5 out of 10. He's got one eye covered. I bet you think saying stuff like that will make you popular.
まさかまさか。
Of course not, of course not. No, no, no.
そん
No
な
way.
つもりで言ったんじゃありま
That's
せん。
not how I mean it at all.
どうやらお一人になりたいようだ。
It looks like you want to be alone.
俺は船長のところへ行っていますぜ。
I'll go see the boat captain.
どうぞ、ごゆっ
Take
く
it
り。
easy. Amakusa apparently decided I was in a bad mood. The guy's Kentucky so golden? Absolutely. Though I didn't feel that way myself, or he might have finished a set of stretches and wanted to cool off in the shade. The sea winds were strong, but not strong enough to cool the rays of the sun. He disappeared. Only I remained.
自己満足こそが人生か。
Self-satisfaction is life itself, hmm?
そんなのつまらないです。
That's just boring. Welcome back, Mammon. Surprisingly not holding a grudge after we murdered her.
人生はどこまでも強欲でなくっちゃ。
Life is nothing without greed. I noticed that Mammon had suddenly appeared, her abundant hair fluttering over by the prow of the ship.
強欲な人生は確かに楽しいわ。
It's true that a life of greed would be
で
fun.
も、あなたと違って人間には寿命がある。
But unlike you, humans have a limited lifespan.
永遠に強欲のままだったなら、人は死ぬ最後の瞬間にも欲があることになる。
If greed is eternal, it means a person will have desires even in their last moments before death.
欲があるということはつまり欲しいということ。
Having desires means there's something you
持
want.
っていないということ。
Something you don't have.
満たされていない
Some
と
way
いう
you
こと。
aren't complete.
自分が満たされていると思えないまま死ぬのはきっと辛いことよ。
I'm sure it's tough to die when you can't think of your life as being a
だか
full
ら
one.
きっと自己満足って必要
So
なん
I'm
だ
sure
よ。
self-satisfaction is necessary.
なるほど。
I see.
寿命ある存在にはそういう妥協点も必要ってことですか。
Due to the existence of a lifespan, you have to compromise like that?
私たちの主はやたらと寿命の長いお方ばかりだったんで考えた
All
こ
of
と
my
も
masters
なか
had
った
long
です。
lifespans. I've never thought of it.
人間ってのは満たされるために生きてるのかしら。
I wonder if humans live for the purpose of being satisfied. Maybe.
だとしたら無欲が一番
If
人
so,
生
it's
に
probably
優しいこと
easiest
に
to
なる
live life without desires. It's true. You could just go become a monk in India.
なるほど。7つの大罪の一つが強欲になるのも納得
I
ね。
see. So that's why greed is one of the 7 deadly sins.
お褒めに預かり光栄です。
Your praise honors me. Apparently that counted as a compliment in Mammon's eyes. She turned and gave a graceful bow.
エンジェ様、
And
人
just
間は死の瞬間に満足であるために生きてるんですか。
do humans live so they can find satisfaction at the moment of their deaths?
死の瞬間に何かが満たされていないのはきっと辛いんじゃない？
Wouldn't it be pretty tough if you felt you were lacking something when you died?
だとしたら人間は満足な死を迎えるためだけに生きてるわけですね。
If so, then humans live only so they can meet a satisfying death.
より良い死のために生きてる。
They live so they can have a better death.
死ぬために生きて
They
る。
live so they can die. This kid's saying something pretty incredible. I'm 14 and this is deep. I see, as I'd expect from a demon's stake. However, it might be the truth. Humans suffer because they aren't satisfied and live only to find satisfaction. In other words, that might be the same as the desire to die satisfied.
言い返せないわ。
I can't counter that.
人は満たされるために生きてる。
People live in order to be
そし
satisfied,
て満たされたまま
and
死
they
に
hope
た
to
いと
die
願っ
that
て。
way.
だからその満たされ方がわからないのはとても辛いことだわ。
So it's really painful when you don't know how to find that satisfaction. This dialogue is just her letting sink in what Amakusa told her 5 seconds ago. Yep.
どうやれば
She's
満たされるんです
processing it via imaginary friend. Just how can you find something like that
人間の人生は
in a human life?
認めてもらうことよ。
By being acknowledged.
お前は幸せだってね。
By hearing someone say you're happy.
誰が認めてもいいものでしたら、私が認めてあげますよ。
Well, if it doesn't matter who acknowledges them, I'll do it.
そうよ。そこなのよ。
That's the
誰に
problem.
認めてもらえばいいのかわからないのよ、人は。
People don't know who needs to acknowledge them.
その認めてくれる人を探すのが人生の旅なんですか。
So searching for the person who can acknowledge them is the journey of their life?
へえ。
おかしな話ね。
That sounds
認めて
strange.
もらおうと認めてもらわなかろうと自分の境遇に変化はないはず。
Whether you're acknowledged or not, it supposedly doesn't change those
にも
circumstances.
かかわらず認められれば満たされ
And yet,
認められないから満た
if
され
you're
ない。
acknowledged, you'll be satisfied. Well, if you aren't, well, you won't be.
まるで青い鳥だわ。
It's almost like
カ
the
ゴ
blue
の
bird.
中にもう青い鳥はいるのにそれに気づけないからどこまでも探しに旅立たなければならない。
Because you can't notice the blue bird, even though it's already in the cage, you have to go out on a journey searching everywhere.
何ですかそれ。
Heck, well, your own metaphor. It's your own metaphor. Surely you understand it.
人間の人生ってバカですね。
Human lives are stupid.
そうね。
That's right.
天草は本当にいいことを言ったわ。
You said something really good.
我ただ樽を知るか。
Rich is the one who is content with what they are, was it? Go into classics, alright.
何のことわざか知らないけど味わい深いわ。
I don't know where that proverb came from, but it's deep.
つまるところ誰かに認めてもらわなければ満ち足りないとは
Basically,
すなわ
if you
ち
can't find...
自らを認められないと
Go
いうこと。
Basically, if you can't find enough satisfaction unless someone acknowledges you, that's the same as not acknowledging yourself.
究極の自己実現はまず
The
自
ultimate
分
in
を自分で
self-fulfillment
認めることだったのよ。
is acknowledging yourself.
そりゃそうです。
That's
自分
right.
が満ち足りてるって自覚できるなら
I see.
誰にも認めてもらう必要なんかない
If
で
you
すか
can
ら。
know that you're fully satisfied, there's no need to be acknowledged by
その
anyone.
小さなことに気づくだけで人間のくだらない人生の旅は簡単に終了ですね。
Just by taking notice of the small things, the human's foolish journey of life can be ended easily. Interesting.
残った時間を有意義に遊んで過ごせます。
You can spend the rest of your life playing and having a good
人
time.
間の人生ってバカバカしい。
Humans' lives are so ridiculous. Yeah, true, true. Maymon's choice of words was bad, but it was surely the truth in most of a human's life. It's a journey that someone will hopefully acknowledge them. So what they can achieve, so that they can achieve a satisfied death. And then when they realize the person doing the acknowledging isn't someone else but themselves, that pointless journey can end. Humans who ended that journey can probably spend the rest of their lives as they wish, head held high. How noble, how praiseworthy that would be.
天草ってさ、
You know,
親とはかなり仲が悪いらしいのよ。
it seems he's on pretty bad terms with his parents.
そりゃそうよね。
That makes sense.
まっとうな親なら足を洗わせたいと願うような商売だもの。
Any decent parent would want him to get the hell out of the trade he's in.
別にいいんじゃない？
Does that really matter though?
本人
I don't
が
know if it
楽
does.
しいなら。
As long as it's for the fun of the person in question.
まったくよね。結
Exactly.
局はそういうことなのよ。
And that's what it comes down to in the
他
end.
人が観測した自分の評価なんかどうでもいいこと。
Criticism formed by the observations of other people doesn't
自
matter.
分の存在を自分自身がしっかり認めら
Your
れたなら
existence is firmly
それで十分
acknowledged
なの。
by you yourself. That's
自
enough.
分に自信を持って生きられるならどんな生活だって受け入れて納得できるに違いない。
If you can live with confidence in yourself, you'll surely be able to accept and be satisfied with any kind of lifestyle.
天草はきっといつか戦場で流れ弾を食らって大怪我をするでしょうよ。
Shiramaksa will eventually eat a stray bullet on the battlefield and get seriously
あ
injured.
るいは死ぬことさえあるかもしれない。
He might even die.
でも天草はそれを理不尽とは思わないと思う。
But I don't think he'd view that as something
それ
unfair.
も人生と。あいつはケラケラ笑ってるような気がするの。
I'm sure he'd cackle about how that's also a part of life.
いい生き様じゃない。
A great way to live.
惚れるわ。
I could fall for the guy. Little Miss
自
Greedy.
分で自分を認められない哀れな人間は
Pitiful humans who can't acknowledge
生涯
themselves.
それを求めてさまよい何も受け入れられず不平不満だけを口にし 満たされないまま死
They
んでい
wander
く。
about searching for that their whole lives, and without anything being accepted, they do nothing but grumble and die while still
哀れだわ。
unsatisfied. How
何の
pitiful.
目的もなくダラダラと生きてる連中に比べたら
Compared to people whose lives drag on without
やがて
purpose,
のたれ死にするかもしれないけれど、自分の人生に胸を張っている天草の方がよっぽど高潔なのよ。
Aksa is more likely to eventually die by the roadside, but I think he's much more noble for living his life with his head held high.
人生悟った者の勝ちってことじゃない？
Aren't the winners in life those who achieve enlightenment? I don't know. Is that how you want to... That seems to be how you're defining it.
少しでも早く悟れれば、その分有効に残りの人生が過ごせてお得よね。
If they can do that even a little sooner, they'll be able to live that much more of their life effectively. With Mammon's words, I finally accepted a certain fact. In the past, I've called that girl unusual and a little strange, however. That wasn't quite true. All she did was keep her head held high and finish that journey faster than anyone else. Maria's better than you because she finished her life's journey at 9.
すごかったのかもしれない。
Maybe that's what made Maria One-chan so amazing.
彼女は小学校低学年になるかならないかという年齢のうちにそれに至ったのよ。
When she was at the age where she might or may not enter the first year of elementary school, she'd already reached that point. Speedrunning life. For people like us looking at her life from the outside, it wasn't something we'd call blessed. But even though days like that were engraved in her diary, they always finished up by saying that it was a happy day. Even though the part of her mother that didn't love her daughter came and went, she believed her mother loved her, and the mother's love that didn't exist she created herself, filling the world with love. Others might observe her as an unsatisfied, pitiful girl, but she herself acknowledged that she was satisfied, and so she was happy that way. It's easy to just observe that something is pitiable and sad, but to her it was an outsider's opinion, so it didn't matter. Whether or not it was happy for her was the only important thing. It's just like how when people who live in a city point to the lifestyles of those in rural areas and mourn their inconvenience and feel sympathy for them, it's really none of their business. It's those who live there are satisfied with what they have, that's more than enough.
私、ようやく気づいたわ。
I finally noticed something.
今気づいた。
I just noticed it now.
マリアお姉ちゃんにひどいことをしたのよ。
I did something horrible to Maria
あ
One-chan.
の日に、あなたたちにも、作太郎にも。
And to you all and Saktaro as well on that day. You gotta apologize to Mammon now? Okay, we'll just apologize to one of the 7 deadly sins for betraying them, no big deal.
魔法があるかないか、
Whether magic exists or not,
それを決めるのは他人じゃないわ。
it's not up to other people to decide.
自分よ。
Oh, it's up to you yourself. Okay, explain how?
マリアお姉ちゃんにとって魔法があるかないかは、マリアお姉ちゃんが決めるべき問題で、私が決めることじゃない。
Whether magic exists to Maria One-chan is a problem for Maria One-chan to decide, not me.
なのに、私は幼いあの日、口にしてしまった。
And yet when I was young, on that day I said
魔
it
法なんてあるわけないって、
by saying, there's
彼
no
女
way
を
magic
傷つけて
exists.
しまった。
I heard her. The fact that magic doesn't exist in my eyes matters in my world, but denying it even in One-chan's world for that reason was totally misguided.
マリアージュ・ソルシエルは、マリアお姉ちゃんの作った魔女同盟。
Mariage Sorcière is the Witches' Alliance Maria One-chan created. Is it? 'Cause I swear I've heard that before.
私はそれに誘われて、一緒に魔女になろうと言われたの。
I was invited into it and told to become a witch with them.
新しい面白い遊びだと思って、私は
Thinking it
しばらくの間、
A
そ
new
れに付
interesting
き合ったわ。
game. I went along with it for a while.
でも、幼さゆえの残酷さ、
Because of the cruelty of
途
youth,
中で飽きてしまった。
I got tired of it halfway
そ
through.
して、鋭利な言葉で、彼女の純粋無垢な心を切り裂いてしまったの。
That sounded like an essay when it just reads in English, and I tore her pure heart apart with sharp words.
あの時大喧嘩をしたはず。
At that time, we must have gotten into a huge fight.
私はすぐに忘れてしまったけ
She's
れ
on the
ど、
verge of tears again.
彼女には忘れられないものだった。
I forgot about it right away, but she couldn't forget about it.
なぜなら、彼女にとって魔法は確かに存在する自然な力で、
After all, to her, magic was a natural power that really
そ
existed,
れは私とも共有できると信じていたから。
and she believed she'd be able to share it with me.
マリアお姉ちゃんにとって魔法は
Maria One-chan.
世界を幸福に解釈できる。いえ、すべてを幸福にできる、まさに魔法の力だった。
Magic is a power that can interpret the world as a blessed note, which can truly make everything blessed.
それを私にもお裾分けしたかっただけ。
She just wanted to share that with
そ
me
の気
too.
持ちを幼い私が引き裂いた。だから彼
Young
女
me
は
tore that feeling apart.
誰とも魔法は分かり合えないと殻の中に閉じこもってしまったのよ。
So she closed herself up in a shell, assuming she wouldn't be able to share her magic with anyone.
だとしたらマリア卿もやはり人生の旅は終わってないわけね。
If that's true, then Lady Maria's journey through life wasn't over after all.
自分に納得できてるなら園児様に否定されたくらいでへこむ必要なんてないわけだし。
Good point, Mammon. If she had been able to accept herself, then there wouldn't be any need to collapse just because you denied her, NJ-sama.
お姉ちゃんは幼かった。
One-chan was young.
天草みたいな達観にはまだ至ってなかったのよ。
She still hadn't reached a philosophical viewpoint like Amakusa.
だからこそわかるわ。
Now I understand.
マリアージュ・ソルシエルという魔女同盟がなぜ必要なのか。
That's why the witches' alliance called Mariage Sorcière was necessary. An alliance where each acknowledges the other is a witch.
そうよ。それが確かマリアージュ・ソルシエルの取り決めの第一条だった気が
I'm
する。
pretty sure that's the first article in the agreement of Mariage Sorcière.
同盟の魔女は互いを魔女と認め尊敬し合うことって、
Witches of the alliance acknowledge and respect each other.
それこそが魔女同盟の一番の、そして唯一の意味なの
The
よ。
deepest and only meaning of the witches' alliance. Checks notes. Didn't one of them kill the other? Okay. Miko's the little brother who wants to play with the older brother and friends, so she gets the Joy-Cons while everyone has Pro controllers. Mario One-chan wanted to share with me the secret laws that make the world happy, also called magic. But I was young, and she was too. I hurt her with innocent cruelty.
私はあの日に言ったわ。暴言を
On that day, I said cruel things
あなたたちやサク太郎に
all, to you all and Saktaro.
存在するわけがないって。
I said there was no way you exist.
失礼しちゃうわ。
How rude.
私たちが存在するって
We
自らを
acknowledge
認
we
めてる。
exist ourselves.
魂が寝ぼけてる人間どもとはわけが違うのよ。
We aren't like humans with their souls half asleep.
我を思うゆえに我あり。
I think, therefore I
魔
am.
法を認めようと否定しようと私たち煉獄の七姉妹という魔法が存在することはゆえに事実。
Whether you acknowledge or deny magic, the existence of the magic called the Seven Stakes of Purgatory is a fact.
園児様の言葉を借りるなら私た
As
ちが
long as,
自らをそう認めている
as long
限り
as we acknowledge it ourselves, to borrow your words.
それを他者である私が否定するのはまさに
Truly would.
暴力だわ。
You're violent. For another person like me to deny it.
それはきっと実の母にお前なんか生まれてこなければよかったと。
I'm sure that'd be like having your true mother yell, I wish you'd never been born.
いいえ、
No.
消えてしまえと怒鳴りつけられるくらいにね。
Even after being slammed by all those words, Maria One-chan's magic made her believe in her mother's love. Saktaro, her magic friend, always encouraged her. It kept saying that her mother loved her and she was coming home late because of her work, and that she'd definitely bring back a present. Even after Maria learned her mother's work wasn't really the cause, magic allowed her to continue believing the magic of copium. And by believing that her mother loved her by acknowledging herself, she filled her world with love and peace and serenity, establishing it completely.
12年前に何があったのか、私の家族がどうなったのか、
What happened 12 years ago? What happened to my family?
それを探る旅じゃなかったのよ、こ
It
れ
was
は。
never a journey to search for that.
ならこの旅は何なの？
What kind of journey is this? It was a journey to enlightenment?
マリアお姉ちゃんにあの日のことを謝る旅だったのよ。
It was a journey to apologize to Maria One-chan for what happened that day.
どうしてかわからないけど、そう思うの。
I don't know why, but that's what I think.
あの日、彼女を傷つけなければ、
If I hadn't heard it,
12年前の事件は起こらなかったんじゃないかって。
the incident 12 years ago might not have occurred.
そう思うの。
That's what I think. I have no basis for it. I don't have a clue how hurting One-chan could be connected with that mysterious incident several years later, but for some reason, I can't imagine there's no connection. Everything is connected to it. A witch caused the incident, and the culprit is the Golden Witch Beatrice. Beatrice was part of Mariage Sorcière alliance of witches. I horribly hurt the other witch of that alliance. I hurt her with the thought that magic doesn't exist. So several years later, a crime caused by a witch occurred. In a 2-day period that couldn't be explained with anything but magic was thrust in my face thanks to the message bottle.
きっと、私は無関係じゃないのよ。
There's no way I wasn't involved somehow, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how the fuck does any of that make sense? Alright. Well, this is your classic survivor's guilt, where you're like, ah, it's something I did.
わからない。
I don't get it. I don't either, dude.
偶然かもしれないし、運命かもしれない。
NJ, I don't get it either. It could be a coincidence or it could be fate.
なぜか、この旅で私はそう思うようになったわ。
For some reason, I started thinking like that on this journey.
根拠は？
Love, it cannot be seen. Without love, magic can't be seen. True, true. And what's your basis for it?
ないわ。
I have
勝手
none.
にそう思ってるだけ。
I just think it's true.
日本人って面白いわね。
Japanese sure are interesting.
被害者であっても自分に非があったように感じて勝手に謝り出す。
Even they're a victim, they feel as though they did something wrong and apologize for no reason.
家族を奪ったベアトリーチ様憎しって言うなら
I
理
can
解もで
understand
き
if
る
you
けど
said, I hate Beatrice for stealing my family or
勝
something.
手に非を感じて謝りたくなってくるなんて
You're really
本当に変わっ
weird.
てるわ。
Feeling guilty for no reason and apologizing?
もちろん、ベアトリーチェは憎いわよ。
Well, of course I hate
その
Beatrice.
気持ちがなければ、この旅は続かないわ。
I couldn't continue this journey without that feeling.
でも、旅にもう一つ目的を見出してもいい。
It's okay to choose yet another purpose for this journey.
12年前の魔女に復讐する旅に、さらに昔の罪を謝罪する目的を加えたっていいんだわ。
There's nothing wrong with adding on a goal of apologizing for past sins in addition to getting revenge on a witch for what happened 12 years ago.
六軒島に行って、あの日の暴言を詫び、花を手向けることくらいはできる。
I can at least go to Rockinjima, apologize for my reckless remarks, and offer flowers.
いえ、花よりもっといいものがあるわ。
There's something better than
そ
flowers.
してその方が、お姉ちゃんにはふさわしいと思う。
I think that would be more fitting for One-chan. I stood up, not minding the sea breeze scattering my hair, and concentrated my mind. I lifted my palm up to the height of my head and imagined a vast space.
エンジュ様
And just some
静かに。
quiet.
さあさあ、おいでなす。
Summarize.
我こそは魔女見習い、エンジェ・ベアトリーチ
I am the witch apprentice NJ
ェ。破門に
Beatrice.
されてはしまったけれど、かつて同じ同盟に所属し、私と遊んでくれた懐かしき家具よ。
I was excommunicated, but I was once a member of the same alliance, and you are the dearly missed furniture who played
我
with
が
me.
呼びかけに応じ、
Answer to my call. It was hard to tell in the middle of the day, but a faint blue light gathered around the palm of my hand, and then Saktaro's form was revived. It truly did bring back memories, that figure. His cute ears, his bright red muffler. It came off easily, so One-chan faithfully rewrapped it all the time, didn't she?
サクタロわ
Saktaro?
かる？
Do you recognize us? Ah, yes. My imaginary friend won't recognize
私た
me.
ちが
Do you know
わ
who
か
we
る？ おりょ
Hey.
おりょマモン
Ammon!
エンジェ
Nanjo, yeah! With a sleepy face as though waking up from a long slumber, Sakutaro looked all around him as he spoke.
お久しぶりね、サクタロウ。
Been a long time, Sakutaro.
あなたを私の力で呼び出すのは、きっとこれが初めてだわ。
I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've summoned you with my own power.
そして今や、私にしか呼び出せない。
And now, well, I'm the only one who can summon you.
ウリュ
Those words might have been a bit cruel. Sakutaro's face clouded over.
かつての私は、あなたを否定した。
In the past, I denied you.
その私があなたを呼び出したということは、
And now that I've
あ
summoned
な
you,
たの存在を、私が認めたということ
it。means I've accepted your existence.
いいの
I mean, you've summoned her in the... You've summoned him in the past when you summoned Maria as well. And all 7 sisters had rejected them in the school. But we'll ignore that one.
僕はエンジェの世界に呼び出されてもいいの
Is it really alright? You mean to be summoned into NJ's world? Sure. Sure, why not? His eyes were a bit frightened. It was only natural. I, who played with him like a friend before, had suddenly denied him and tried to burn him with the magic-resisting toxin. It was only natural. He was scared.
謝るわ。
I apologize
あの日のこと、
for that day.
マモンにも、
You too, Mammon.
そして、みんなにも。
And to the rest of you. At some point, the rest of the sisters had gathered on deck. Oh, they're always there. What do you mean they're always there? I thought you had to summon them. You couldn't even manage to maintain five of them. And yet, suddenly 2 more you haven't actually summoned show up? Curious how that works. They're always here, always by my side. As long as I acknowledge that it's okay for them to be there, they'll always appear.
あなたたちは、確かに存在するわ。
You certainly do exist. You can't even see NJ for the field of sisters.
ルシファーも、
Can you move Leviathan over to the right by like, I don't know, like an inch and a half, game?
レビアタンも、
You certainly do exist, Lucifer.
サタン
Leviathan.
も、ベ
Satan.
ルフェゴールも、
Belphegor.
マモンも、
Mammon.
ベルゼブブも、アスモデウスも、そ
Asmodeus.
して、サクタロウも。
And Sectaro. Does the anti-magic of a flat earther or anti-vaxxer the biggest enemy for witches? Are you sure? They believe in a lot of crazy shit, man. Flat earthers believe in magic. They may not believe in your witchcraft, but they certainly believe that the world is flat and that there's like a fucking wall of ice around the planet and that the like light fucking warps due to magic so that it can create their thing. I think they'd believe in it. In fact, flat earthers might be the... Oh, anti-magic flat earthers are the most dangerous due to their pro-denial powers. I see. The average one is on the side of magic. I see.
よろしいのですか
Sure.
エンジェ様はベアトリーチェ様に挑もうというお方
You're the one challenging Beatrice, NJ-sama.
魔女を否定される立場にあられるお方が我らを認めてもよろしいのですか
Is it okay for one in a position of denying witches to acknowledge us?
私の世界にとって
あ
魔法が存在するかどうかは悪いけど保留させてもらうわ。
As to whether magic exists or not in my world, sorry. Let me put that on hold.
私自身が魔法の存在を認めたわけじゃな
It's
い。
not like I myself acknowledge the existence of magic.
なのに我らを認めるという矛盾はどういうことです
Doesn't that contradict the fact you're acknowledging us?
魔法は信じる人には存在するってことよ。
Because the magic exists for people who believe,
私が信じなくても
even if I don't.
誰かが信じたならその人の世界には魔法が存在
If
するわ。
someone believes magic exists, then magic will exist in the human world.
それは私が魔法を信じたって信じなくたって
It won't
何の
change
干渉も
in
受
the
けない。
slightest whether I believe in magic or not.
いいえ、受けてはいけないのよ。
It mustn't change.
その誰かは胸を張って自らの魔法を信じればいいのよ。
That person just has to hold their head up high and believe in their own magic.
そして私はそれを認める。
I acknowledge
だ
that.
から あなたたちが存在しても
It
全
wouldn't be
然おかし
strange
く
at
はない
all
のよ。
for all of you to exist.
なかなかの詭弁ですが、面白い解釈かと。
Quite a play on words, but it's an interesting interpretation. Yeah, Beatrice versus Beatrice and Beatrice.
エンジェ
Wait,
様の
wasn't
そ
one
れ
of them
は
battler?
悪魔の証明そのものでしょう。
What you're saying, Enji-sama's probably a devil's proof?
悪魔の証明？
Back to the devil's, good old devil's proof.
悪魔の存在を証明するには悪魔を連れてくればいいけれど、
To prove the existence of demons, you just need to find one.
悪魔の存在を否定することだけは不可能だから。
But it's impossible to deny their existence.
そして私たちはここにいる。
And we're here.
つまりそれはエンジェ様が魔法を信じようと信じまいと、私たちの存在は揺るがないということ。
Whether Enji-sama believes in magic or not, our existence is unshakable.
おりゅう
The boat's suddenly feeling very crowded considering there were 3 people on it and now there are 10. 11, sorry.
エンジから
The magic resisting
半
toxin
魔法の毒が
is disappearing.
消えていく。
NJ?
本当だわ。
You're right.
魔法を否定する立場なのに、どうして？
Even though you're in a position of denying magic, why?
それは多分
It's
尊
probably
重し認めるという心を知ったからだ
because
わ。
I learned what it means to respect and acknowledge.
今の私になら
Right now,
マリアお姉ちゃんの
I might be able to
そしてベアトリーチェの魔法の深淵も
understand the
理解で
depths
きる
of
かもしれない。
Maria One-chan and Beatrice's magic. In the past, I didn't believe in things like magic. Thinking something like that couldn't exist, I acted like I was closing my eyes tightly and couldn't see anything. But now I'm different. I get the feeling I can look right at the thing called magic and close in on its true nature.
惜しいわ。
How frustrating.
この現代にこれだけ半魔法の毒素の抜けた人間なんて本当に稀よ。
It's truly rare to find a human so free of the magic-resisting toxin in this day and age.
魔女に向いた稀有な才能なのに。
And she has such an uncommon genius for being a witch.
そうね。今のエンジ様が魔女を目指してくださったなら、
If NJ tried to become a witch
ベア
now,
トリーチェ様に及ぶかもしれない大魔女に成長されたか
she
もし
could
れ
grow
な
to
い
be a
のに。
great witch, maybe even at Beatrice-sama's level. We need to surpass her, sorry.
それでも我らの存在を認めてくださった我らの主である。
Even so, she's acknowledged our existence and is our
お
master.
そらくエンジェ様が我らの最後の主となるだろう。
More likely, NJ-sama will be our final master.
最後の奉公と思い尽力しようではないか。
Let's think of this as our final service and apply ourselves to the fullest.
なのにエンジ様自身がまだ魔法を信じてくれないのが納得いか
I
ない。
just can't stand that NJ-sama doesn't believe in magic herself.
エンジ様、ついでに魔法も認めてくださいよ。
NJ-sama, please believe in magic too. Sorry,
せっ
Asmodeus.
かくの主なのに魔女じゃないなんてなんだかもったいない。
It feels like such a waste to finally have a master and have it not be a witch. Yeah, uh-huh.
最高の魔女になれる逸材なのに、その目的が魔女を撃つことだなんて
Even though you have outstanding talent that can make you one of the greatest witches, your goal is to attack witches.
惜しいです。
So frustrating. What witches would actually be vulnerable to magic attacks, whereas other people are resistant to it?
まあ、それもエンジ様の人生で、
Well, that's your life, the way you live.
そうと決めた世界ならば、それは私たちにとやかく口出しできることではないわけですが、
And in the world where you've decided that, there's nothing we can do to complain? Yeah, I
私を
suppose
理
so.
解してくれてありがとう。
Thanks for understanding.
そうね。魔法が私にとって存在するかどうか、
But yeah, whether magic exists to me or not,
それは私が決めることだわ。
it's up to me to
世
decide,
界のどこかに魔法が実在
regardless
した
of
とし
whether
ても
magic actually does
しなか
exist
ったと
somewhere
し
in
て
the
も
world or not.
ね。
When I think about it, this world is so vast and yet so small, billions of people on the earth, but I probably won't even meet 1% of them. Even so, I will speak of a world. My world. Which doesn't even know 1% of the world.
私が知らない世界の法則を私に否定する資格なんてない。
I'm not qualified to deny the laws of a world I don't know. You'd only need to know 10 million people, right? That seems reasonable.
だから 私の世界に魔法が存在しない
Check
か
how
らとい
many
っ
seconds
て
are in a lifetime.
私の知らない世界に魔法が存在することまでを否定することはできない。
So just because magic doesn't exist in my world, I can't deny that magic exists in a world I don't know.
まさに悪魔の証明というわけだわ。
Makes it a true devil's proof.
いえ、業に入りては業に従えというべ
Or
きか
perhaps
し。
it's more like a, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I can be confident in the world I know. Even if it's denied by a complete stranger who doesn't know a thing about my world, there's nothing to worry about. And in the same way, I've got no right to deny a world I don't know. Because I don't know about it. That's true. That is why religious fanatics can proselytize all they like. And why you're perfectly justified in brutally murdering people for not following your religion, because to them that means they're justified in anything they do, because their world's real. Bad way to achieve actual truth, equality, or respect. But you can say, well, okay, if you believe it.
だから、
Therefore,
私は自分の世界に魔法があるかないかを
regardless of
問わ
whether
ずに
there's magic in my world
マ
or
リアお
not,
姉ちゃんが教えてくれた魔法を
I can't deny the
否定
magic
する
Mario
ことなんて
One-chan
でき
taught
や
me.
しない。
Okay.
無理だって見たことがなくても
After all, even if you'd never seen it,
魔法は存在するんだもん。
magic exists.
ええ、だからすでに言っている通り、
That's why, as I've
魔
already
女
said,
同盟、マリアージュ・ソルシエルの友人であるあなたたちの
you
存在も
friends
ま
of the
た
Witches Alliance, Mariage Sorcia,
私にも、そして誰にも
you can't
否
be
定するこ
denied
となんてできな
by
いわ
me
け。
or anyone else. I proclaimed the most important part again. Even though the sea breeze and the crashing of the waves were noisy, it was a time of silence. Both Saktaro and the Seven Sisters reflected on my words, and probably I did too. Does magic exist? Do witches exist? Well, ignoring that the answer would be for my own world, I acknowledged their existence, and that contradiction was what I proclaimed so boldly.
ありがとうエンジェ。
Thanks, Sensei.
そこまでお認めになったなら、魔女もお認めになって。
If you'll acknowledge that much, can't you acknowledge witches too? Nah, I'm gonna relax and not worry about it, Belphegor. Come on.
いえ、愚問でした。
That was a foolish question. Belphegor pushing me to do work?
その問いに対する答えを、すでにエンジェ様は明確にお持
You
ち
already
だ。
have a clear answer to it?
ごめんね。
Okay.
魔女がこの世界のどこかにいるかもしれないことを私は認めるけれど、
Though I do acknowledge that witches might exist somewhere in the
で
world,
も私の世界は揺るがない。
it doesn't shake my world.
魔女も魔法も認めない。
You won't acknowledge witches or
六
magic?
軒島の真実は
You'll
必
definitely
ず
expose
暴
the
いてみせ
truth
る。
of Rockinjima,
でしょ？
right?
ええ、それが私の世界よ。
That's my
仮
world.
に本当に魔女が存在したとしても、私の世界では認めないわ。
Even if a real witch exists, I won't acknowledge it in my
当
world,
の魔女にどれだけ言い寄ら
no
れ
matter
た
how
と
much
してもね。
they try to convince me.
エンジェ様のお立場は魔女を撃つこと。
Your position is to attack witches, Enji-sama.
そして、そのお気持ちにいささかの揺らぎもないこと。
And I
よくわ
understand
か
you
りま
haven't
した。
the slightest wavering in that feeling.
我らはエンジェ様の家具、煉獄の七姉妹。
Or your furniture, the Seven Sisters of
い
Purgatory.
つでもおそばに、
Will always be by your
お
side.
役に立てる日が来るのを、いつまでもお待ち申し上げており
Always
ます。
be waiting for the day we can be useful.
エンジ様が魔法を信じてくれない以上、話し相手くらいにしかなれないけれど、
Although, since you don't believe in magic, we can never be anything more than people to talk to.
今は十分よ。
That's enough for
私
now.
たちに存在できる余地を残してくださっ
We've been left room
た。そ
to
れだけ
exist.
で、私たちはエンジェ様に感謝し、
We should thank and
認めるべ
acknowledge
きだわ。
Enji-sama.
つまり
In short,
私たちは
all of us
またみんなといられるんだね。
are together again.
うりゅーサク太郎
Akutaro,
モフモフさせて
let me squeeze you. When Saktaro was overcome with emotion and tears came to his eyes, the Seven Sisters closed in and mobbed him. They were also celebrating a long-missed reunion. If their existence is permitted, they're definitely capable of existing here. Or even if I don't permit it, they can exist because I acknowledge them. They showed their reunion's joy to me as well. And as I watched over that scene, I reflected on this journey. What mine meant. Okay. What does this journey of yours mean, my friend?
これでみんなには許してもらえたかしら。
I wonder if everyone will forgive me this way.
十分ですよ。
Oh, you've done enough.
私たちは
With
家具
furniture.
呼び出してもらえるだけで
Just
お
being
そばにいる
summoned,
ことを
just being
許さ
allowed
れ
to be
る
by
だ
your
けで
side makes us happy.
嬉しいのですから。ウリュウ、エンジェ、本当にありがとう。
Gee, thank you so much. Alright, that was a long conversation for her to accept that, but now we have more of her philosophy on witchcraft going into her trial with Beato.
そういえば、どうして私には作太郎が呼び出せたのかしら。
Come to think of it, why was I able to summon Saktaro?
いいえ、逆ね。
No, it's the other way around.
どうしてお姉ちゃんには作太郎が呼び出せなかったのかしら。
Why wasn't One-chan able to summon Saktaro? Mari One-chan had despaired thinking Saktaro was dead, which meant she hadn't been able to summon him like this anymore. In the past, One-chan said it was more advantageous in its summoning to have a vessel. However, a vessel is like training wheels, it shouldn't be absolutely necessary. In other words, even if the stuffed animal lion that was Saktaro's vessel didn't exist, it should have been possible to summon him. When you put it like that, it's even doubtful whether summoning things can be limited by life and death. Moreover, Saktaro should have been an especially important friend to Maria One-chan. She should have been able to strive hard to summon him one more time. It certainly was sad the original stuffed animal vessel had been torn apart, but why did he die and become impossible to summon again?
それは
That's because...
マリアがあの時僕のぬいぐるみが破れたのを見て
At the time, Maria saw my stuffed animal torn.
僕が死んでしまったと
Decided I'd died.
魔法の存在と同じなんです。
The same as the existence of
マリア
magic.
教の世界でサク太郎が死んでしまったことになった
If
なら
Saktaro died in Lady Maria's
彼女
world,
の世界では
he can't
サク
exist
太郎
there.
は
ウリュウ
The shock of having her beloved stuffed animal torn apart left a wound in her heart serious enough to prevent her from summoning her irreplaceable close friend. When NJ finds a logic error in her own fan. Yeah, it's like, Maria, how does your logic... she's finding a logic error in Maria's imaginary world and is like, that's weird. In Maria One-chan's eyes, Saktaro died. Because the question is, why did Maria not get to resummon Saktaro? Even if, because Maria says that Saktaro's form is just a vessel, so he should be resummonable. Even if Saktaro can exist like this to me, he can't exist before her.
僕はいつもマリアと一緒にいたんだよ
I was always with Maria.
泣いてるマリアのすぐ近くで泣かないでってずっと言ってたんだよ
When Maria cried, I was always right beside her, telling her not to
で
cry.
もマリアには僕の
My
姿
form,
も
my
声
voice.
も何も届かなくて
Nothing of me will reach Maria now. Saktaro hung his head, looking sad.
マリアージュ・ソルシエルはあの事件の後急に性格を変えていくの。
After that incident, the nature of Mariage Sorcière rapidly began to
それま
change.
での同盟は和やかなものだった。
Before then, the alliance was a peaceful thing.
でも事件後は憎い誰かをいかにして呪うかという物
After
騒
the
なものば
incident,
かり。
it grew full of shadier things, focusing on how to curse people you hate.
お姉ちゃんの日記はあからさまに様変わりしていくの。
One-chan's diary began to show a clear change, one we haven't seen much of, at least. A diary is a mirror that reflects one's heart as it is. It probably showed the person called Maria die and be reborn as the evil witch personality Maria. When she buried the diary in hatred and sadness, her heart truly wasn't satisfied. Because it wasn't satisfied, she had to bury it with hatred and sadness. And while unsatisfied, she met with death. I wonder if her unsatisfied soul has a hole opened in its chest from sadness even now, and continually wanders dripping tears down and calling Saktaro's name.
あなたがお姉ちゃんには必要なのよ。
One-chan needs you.
ウリュウ。
どうしたらあなたをマリアお姉ちゃんの世界で蘇らせられるの？
What can I do to revive you in Mario One-chan's
その
world?
方法がわかれば、私はお姉ちゃんを救うことができる。
If I can learn that method, I'll be able to save One-chan.
それが私に課せられた贖罪の方法な
The
のよ。
method of atonement I've been given.
どうすればサク太郎は蘇るの？
What can be done to revive Saktaro?
マリアにとって僕のよりしろは特に重要な意味を持ってたから。
Mario, my vessel had a very important meaning.
よりしろ。
The vessel.
つまりライオンのぬいぐるみを蘇らせることができ
In
れ
other
ば。
words, if we revive the lion stuffed animal.
でも
But
僕のぬいぐるみはローザママの手作りだからローザママにしか作れない。
Mama Rosa made my stuffed animal herself. Only she could make it. Even inside the diary, Mario One-chan had asked this of Beatrice and was refused for that reason. The magical significance of a stuffed animal being unique and handmade is very large. Then if we could make the same thing once more. But Aunt Rosa is already gone from this world. We can't make the same thing again. If you're a real witch, you can res people. Or give people a phone call who are in the grave and have them tell you the design.
同じぬいぐるみをもう一つ作ってあったとか、そういうことはないの？
Was there ever another identical stuffed animal made or anything like that?
彼はマリア教の誕生日プレゼントのために作られた世界でたった一つのぬいぐるみ。
He's a stuffed animal made to be Lady Maria's birthday present and is the only one of its kind in the world.
手作りでたった一つのよりしろなん
A
です。
handmade and unique vessel.
だから大きな魔力を秘めているんです。
That's why it conceals a great magical power.
そして失われたらもう二度と手に入らない。
If lost, it cannot be obtained again.
蘇らない。
It won't revive.
ウリュウ。
Yeah. Okay. Because she knew that. Alright. Mario One-chan wanted that stuffed animal which is unique in the world. Watch that animal which is unique in the world get torn apart. Okay. And despaired, right? Because it was the only one of its kind in the world, and she couldn't permit a compromise such as buying another one, she had despaired from the bottom of her heart.
でもサク太郎はここにいるわ。
But Saktaro is right here. How can you be here, Saktaro, if... How can you be here, Saktaro, if you can only be summoned in your vessel?
よりしろなんかなくてもここにいる。
Without a vessel, he's right here. How is this possible?
私がそれを認めているから、私の
I
世界では
acknowledge he
確かに
exists
存
in
在
my
する。
world. Yes, you acknowledge him, so he exists.
マリアお姉ちゃんが認めなくても、それは否定できない。
He says even if Maria One-chan doesn't acknowledge him, he can't be denied.
そうよね。
Right? Right?
理屈ではそうですが、
Logically, it's true. Emotionally, it's probably not.
同じ理屈でマリア教にそれを認めさせることもまた困難かと思います。
I think using that logic to make a Lady Mario exception would be difficult. Yes, I'm with you, Mammon.
マリア。
Which is actually just another one of NJ's lines of thought, I suppose.
僕は死んでないよ。
You're not dead.
ここにいるのに。
I'm right here.
ウリュウ。
きっと六軒島で
Alright, I'm sure on Rockin'
マ
Jima,
リアお姉ちゃんに私は再会できると思うの。
I'll be able to be reunited with Mario One-chan.
そして私は何が何でもお姉ちゃんの中のあなたを蘇らせて再会させるわ。
Ah, yes, the epic quest to revive Saktaro in the past. I see how it is. Doesn't matter what, I'll revive the you that's inside One-chan and let you be reunited.
できるの？
Can you do it?
難しいでしょうね。
It'll probably be hard. A bit of time
魔女
travel.
同盟に誘われた私が意味を理解できず拒
Just
絶
like
して
how
し
after
まったの
being
と同じよ
invited
う
into
に
the Witches Alliance, I rejected it without understanding what it meant.
彼女もまたあなたの存在を拒絶するかもしれない。
Also reject your existence. Oh, that wouldn't be good.
でもやるしかないわ。
You gotta do it? Oh?
それが私にできる
That's the
唯
only
一
way
の
to atone for
罪
your
滅ぼし
sins.
なのよ。
I think there's probably another way, but you know what? Okay. I'll take it, Enche. I'll take it.
エンジ様
Enche-sama. Alright.
六軒島で何が待つのか、
What awaits on Rockinjima? Not a whole lot of problem, I believe.
そして何が起こるのか、
What'll happen?
何が
What'll
でき
be
るのか、
created?
あるいは何も起こらないのかもしれないけ
Nothing
れ
will
ど。
happen. Nothing will be discovered. Nothing will be created. The police were thorough, did their job, and couldn't come to a conclusion. Are we really gonna believe the police, though? How much do you think Amakusa gets paid to satisfy the delusion of a rich Chuny teen? Isn't he getting paid 50,000 yen per day? Plus expenses? I'm pretty sure he's getting paid. He's making bank here. That's like 500 bucks per day. Like, imagine getting paid 500 bucks per day to, like, drive a rich teen around. It's not too bad.
すべての始まりであるあの島
The
こそ
money's
が
good at any rate.
この旅の終着点なのよ。
That island, which is the beginning of everything, is the final destination for this journey.
私はあなたたちを連れて魔女の家具であるあなたたちの主として
You're all furniture of a witch, so as your master,
魔女の島へ六軒島へ帰らなければならない。
I have to take you home. I see. Home to Rockinjima. To the Witch's Island. To Rockinjima! Well, I guess I didn't need to say to Rockinjima if they were gonna elaborate on that 2 seconds later. Even though the rays of the sun had been so strong, at some point clouds started hanging down. The spray that hit my cheek might not have all have come from the crashing waves. Guess it's time to go indoors, isn't it, NJ? I wouldn't worry about it. It's getting closer and closer to the weather. It was like when your family visited so many years ago.
エンジェさん、
NJ!
軽く一雨来そうですぜ。
Looks like we got a bit of we're gonna get a bit of a shower. Well, it's not a storm. That's not too bad.
下へ降りた方がいいんじゃないですか？
It may be best if you go below deck. Amakusa called out to me with an expression that said, "Oh, you're still here." When I looked up, I saw the island's silhouette had gotten much larger. We might reach land soon. I remember that the weather report had mentioned scattered rains. The sky wasn't dark enough for rain clouds. It'd probably just be for a short time. Even though the rain was light enough to not be a pain, having rain start to fall as we approached the island felt like some kind of fate. It was raining on October 4th, 1986 as well, you don't say. I'm approaching the Rockinjima of that day, and not just in distance. I went back down with Amakusa. He was carrying what looked like a really large and heavy golf bag. It was something he'd brought with him on a day when we split up. I didn't inquire as to its contents, but it was hard to imagine they were anything peaceful.
中身はあえて聞かないけど重そうね。
I won't go as far to ask what's inside, but it looks heavy. Of course it's heavy.
どうしてこいつらは重くてかな
Are
わな
these
い
things
の
so
か。
darn heavy all the time?
フランス人の教官が面白いことを教えてくれました。
A French instructor taught me something interesting about that once.
なんでもこいつらは重くあるべきだそうなんです。
He said they should always be heavy.
何しろ人の命は地球より
After all,
重
a
いんで
human
すから
life。is heavier than the world. Are they sure they didn't end up on the British Isles? No, it's only a few hours at sea. And they didn't have to bring their passports.
こいつらはもっと重くて叱るべき
Oh,
なん
you're
だ
rolling
とか。
Gordon Ramsay today? It's Thanksgiving in America? Yes, it is Thanksgiving sometime in America. Oh, wait, no. Thanksgiving... Wait, is American Thanksgiving today or tomorrow? Whatever. Happy Thanksgiving to the Americans. who may or may not be watching this. I don't remember which day is American Thanksgiving. They have it on a weird day. Yes, the guns should be heavy because the human life is heavier than the world. Okay, okay. At the very least, there should be some weight behind it so you understand it. You get a feel for what you're doing. I can see that argument.
使う機会がないといいわね。
It'd be nice if you didn't need to use them.
ないといいですな。
It would be nice. Moxa set the golf bag like luggage down beside him. It's just a taser. A very large taser. A plane. A two-propeller aircraft touched down on the runway. Considering the weather, it couldn't have been a pleasant flight. Everything after this flight had been suspended due to weather. Is this where Sumadera comes out? Hey! Cutting through the drizzle as she traversed the runway, Sumadera Kasumi entered the lobby with 2 black suits as guards. The 4 black suits who had been waiting in the lobby stood up and respectfully lowered their heads in salute.
お疲れ様です。
Kasumi-sama.
プロペラ機ってのは揺れるわね。
Propeller planes certainly do shake.
二度と乗りたくないわ。
I wouldn't want to ride on one again. Well, the good news is they have no weapons since they had to take their stuff on a plane, and that means baggage check-ins and x-rays.
お車を用意しております。
We have a car prepared.
どうぞこちらへ。
Please, this way. They got into 2 luxury cars that had been rented.
エンジェは六軒島へ向かうはずよ。
NJ should be heading for Rockinjima.
無人島とは実に都合がいいわね。
A deserted island, how convenient.
お道具は用意できてるんでしょうね。
You arranged for some tools, I think. Ma'am. Yes. The black suit in the passenger seat put a heavy bag that had been set by his feet onto his lap and opened the catch with a click, showing Kasumi what was inside. Inside were several lumps of carefully wrapped aluminum foil, and he peeled one open to show her. A black, blunt automatic pistol peeked its face out. This security sucks. Couldn't even stop someone bringing like 30 weapons onto the island. The fuck was airport security doing there? It's the 1990s too. It's already approaching 10 o'clock at night. They had more of an excuse in the 80s, but I don't know if they have an excuse in the 90s. Approaching 10 at night. By now, the typhoon had wrapped itself around Rockinjima. Okay, okay. We're back to the main cast. Even the rose garden that had looked so beautiful midday and was beaten down upon by the fierce winds and resisted with all its might, undulating and trying to keep the flowers from blowing away. In that rose garden was Shannon. In the lead, Battler holding up an umbrella, Jessica George carrying the sleeping Maria on his back, all heading for the guest house.
ゲストハウスくらい俺たちだけでも行けるってのに。
You can at least make it to the guest house from here. Was there a chance you couldn't do that?
いいんだぜ、シャノンちゃん。戻って休んでてくれよ。
Shannon-chan, it's fine. You should go back and rest.
いいえ、お送りするのも仕事ですので。
Don't worry. Seeing you off is also part of my duty.
親族会議中はうちのお母さんとか源氏さんもピリピリしてるからな。
Family conference is going on inside, and Mom and Genji are probably getting
下
stressed.
手に私たちが気を利かせるとシャノンがサボってると勘違いされちゃう。
If we keep you, they'll misunderstand and think you're being lazy.
そうだね。
Right, that's right.
素
Yeah,
直
I
に
don't know
お
if
世
that's
話にな
right.
った方がむしろ迷惑をかけないだろうね。
Just graciously accepting our offer might be the best way to avoid burdening people. Maybe.
ありがとう、シャノン。
Thanks, Shannon. I have no clue if that's true, but okay, I hope it works for you.
いい
Not at all.
え、確かにお嬢様のおっしゃられます通り、今日のお屋敷はピリピリしています。
As my lady has said, it's very tense inside the mansion today. I mean, it is the family conference. They seem to be consistently tense.
だから、私も皆さんとご一緒して、外の空気が吸えるので、 ちょっと肩
Therefore,
が楽
coming
で
with
す。
all of you allowed me a breath of fresh air. And I've been able to relax just a little bit. You know, it'd be kind of funny if, I wonder what happens if, Shiromiya NJ disappears on the island and never comes back. What then, Kasumi? Like, oh yes, she was last reported being chased by Kasumi and never appeared. Anyway, we're gonna give all the money to Kasumi? That seems really suspicious. It's like you murdered the kid for their money. But of course it's Rakenshima, and the police are incompetent, if not bought out. So, they'll probably just be like, well, I guess Sumadera gets all the money. It seems good, guys. It's like she had all the motive in the world to murder this chick who's barely related to her for her money, and she was supposed to be watching over, and poof, she's gone. Oh, guess she gets the money. Right. So it's been a breath of fresh air to hang out with people who aren't the adults. Seems fair.
親族会議か。
Family conference, yeah, it's pretty stressful, dude.
わざわざ俺たち子供を追い出すくらいだから、相当タチの悪い話をするんだろうぜ。
They went all out on chasing us kids out. They're probably talking about something shady. Yep. That's how it goes.
だろうね。
Probably. There's not even any doubt, dude. It's something shady, you just don't know what it is. Or, well, it's because they're greedy.
僕たちはきっと何の力にもなれない。
I'm sure there's nothing we can do to help her.
せめて邪魔をしないようにするのが一番の協力だ
Just
と
trying
思
to
う
stay
よ。
out of their way. It's probably the best way for us to be useful.
どうせまた金って話だろうぜ。
You know Jessica's not wrong. It's all just money, money, money.
普段散々金持ちだと吹聴してるくせに、いざとなったらもったいぶりやがる。
They all act like they're rich, but when it gets tough, they all start getting pushy. They all want that green. Or whatever color your money is.
気前よくみんなで山分けすりゃいいのによ。
Why don't they just be graceful and split it evenly between everyone? Because, Jessica, they all want all the money. That's how rich people work.
そりゃ俺にも分け前がもらえりゃいいのによ。
That'd be awesome. It'd be nice if I got a share too.
もし俺にももらえたら、そん時はシャノンちゃんにも分けてやるから
If
な。
I got some, I'd split it with Shannon-chan right away.
どうもありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
お気持ちだけで嬉しいです。
Well, I appreciate the sentiment. You're gonna getting lots of shares. George shares his money. Battler shares his money.
シャノンは欲がないね。
Shannon isn't greedy at all.
年頃の女の子なら買いたいものがいっぱいあるだろうに。
Normally, girls of your age would have tons of things they want to buy.
そうですね。
I get.
でも私、欲しいものの中にお金で買えるものがありませんので。
None of the things I want can be bought with money.
ひゅー
Very, very advanced of you.
無欲だな。
How unselfish. You're like a monk, Shannon. Damn, alright.
俺なんか欲しいもん全部並べたら金がいくらあっても足りねえぜ。
If you lined up all the things I wanted, all the gold in the world wouldn't be enough. Really?
お金で買えるものにはだぜ。
That is, if you're talking about things that can be bought with money.
シャノンの言う金で買えない欲しいものって何か
I
な。
wonder what those things that can't be bought with money that Shannon wants.
ジョー
are.
ジ兄さんは心当たりある？
Any idea, George Nisa?
さあ、なんだろうね。
I wonder.
シャノンじゃないとわからないね。
I'm not Shannon. How would I know?
私にもわかりませ
I
ん。
don't know either. What? How do you not know what you want? If you know what you want can't be bought with money. George and Shannon looked down, their faces red. Battler had also heard about what's going on with him, so he knew Jessica was teasing them
ジョー
about.
ジの兄貴は俺にとっても尊敬できるお人だ。
George Aniki is a person I can respect.
シャノンちゃんは本当にいい人と巡り会えたと思うぜ。
I think you've met up with an amazing person, Shannon.
だな。
Yeah.
私も ジョージ兄さんなら安心してシャノンを任せら
I'm
れるぜ。
also relieved we can leave Shannon to George Nissan.
からかうのはよしてくれよ。
Stop teasing. Well, stop being so easy to tease, George. It's easy.
僕たちにとっては真面目な問題なんだ。
It's a serious issue for us.
それより、ジェシカちゃんの方だってどうなんだい？
More importantly, what about you, Jessica
カノン
Chan?
君と少しは仲良くなれたのかい？
Have you been able to get closer to Cannon-kun? Nah, he shot her down.
お前、カノン君とそういう仲なのかよ。
You and Cannon-kun are like that? Well, yep.
汚いぜ、ジョージ兄さん。そういう話の切り返し方は汚いぜ。
Twisting the conversation around like that's dirty. She got shot down. Pretty fucking hard. Think the Japanese there were as far as Japanese planes go down, she's definitely going like the Zero was in World War II when Japanese lost air superiority just about everywhere. Yeah, she's gotten shot down pretty hard. As they had an animated discussion with ups and downs, the four kids headed for the guest house. The annual family conference was extremely important to the Ashiromiya family. And this year seemed like it was going to be especially important. Apparently the family head Kinzo was personally going to be making a serious announcement. Everyone other than the adults had been strictly ordered to leave. Battler hadn't attended the family conference in 6 years, so he didn't notice. But according to Jessica, there seemed to be a very tense atmosphere tonight, completely different from a normal year. You weren't expecting a Thanksgiving stream, but you're not doing anything, so... It's not my Thanksgiving. I don't get a holiday today. I'd love an extra holiday, but unfortunately, that's not the case. No holidays for me today. Common sense made it clear that Kinzo, whose remaining life was short, was going to make some big announcement about the succession of the headship and the distribution of his fortune.
しかし驚いたな。
I'm surprised.
まさか、本当にじいさまが登場するとは。
I think grandfather's actually going to make an appearance.
なるほど。
I see.
これが魔女の反撃というわけね。
So this is the witch's counterattack.
金蔵というジョーカーはもう少し伏せていたかったところだが、そろそろ切るのが頃合いであろう。
I wanted to leave the Joker called Kinzo face down a little longer, but it's probably about time to turn it over.
切り札は切るためにある。
Trump cards exist to be used.
くそ。
Damn, well, we gotta see him.
じいさまは最初から死んでて、その代わりに謎の18人目が紛れ込んでるっていう俺の推理は。
My theory that grandfather was dead since the beginning and a different 18th person
こ
snuck
こ
in.
に来ていきなりバッ
Suddenly
サ
torn
リって
apart.
わけか。
Assuming he shows up. Assuming he shows up.
いつかはそなたが金蔵を疑いに来ることは読めておったわ。
I'd foreseen you'd begin to doubt Kinzo eventually.
さあさあ、これでそなたの推理は再びゼロに戻ったぞ。
And now your reasoning is all back to square one again, right?
金蔵は最初から死んでいて、その代わりにわらわが18人目として紛れ込んでいたという推理はこれでパーだ。
Is this your theory that Kinzo is dead at the beginning and I was hiding as the 18th person goes poof? Poof, it goes.
くそ。
Yeah, you're in trouble, Battler.
だがくじけねえぞ。
No way I'll lose heart. That was an interesting explanation. I wonder if he's got a better one coming up.
一つの推理が外れただけだ。
That's only one theory gone.
嵐のように、暴風のように襲いかかってやる。
Like a tornado. Okay, okay.
そうでなくては
I
な、
have it
そ
no
う
other
でな
way.
くてはな。まだまだ第一の晩祭始まっていないぞ。
Even the first twilight hasn't begun.
屈服にはあまりに早す
Far
ぎ
too
る。
early to give up. Yes, I'm from the land of moose and maple syrup.
そうね。
That's right.
そして 赤き真実で否定されたわけで
Not
も
like
な
it
い。
was denied with the red truth. We haven't seen Kinzo here.
今この瞬間の時点で、まだバトラの説は破られたわけでは
At this
ない。
point in time, Battler's theory hasn't been defeated. And since it seems to be a different scenario every time, it could have in fact been true for that scenario.
勝ったつもりになるのも早すぎ
Too
るわ
early
よ。
to say you've won.
そうだな。
Even if Kinzo's alive here, it doesn't mean he was alive last time the game took place.
確かに。あっさり鵜呑みにするにはまだ早いな。
Still too early for me to swallow her story.
じいさん
Yeah,
が
wait
い
for
よい
that
よ
red
登場
text.
する。ということ
Grandfather's
にはな
supposed
った
to
が
actually appear. He hasn't even actually appeared in this story
やっ
yet.
ぱり体調が悪くなった運
There's
に
someone
よ
else
っ
that
て
is.
現れない可能性だってある。
There's a chance they'll talk about how his health got worse and he won't appear at all. It doesn't. That's unlikely to happen since he made the first announcement that he's going to show up ever.
じいさまは本当は死んでいるという事実を。
Uncle Kraus might be trying
ク
desperately
ラウスお
to
じさんがギリギリまで苦し紛れで引き伸ばしている
hide
だ
the
けかもし
fact
れな
that
い。
grandfather really is dead until the last second.
なるほどなるほど。そういう考え方もあるか。
You could also think of it that way.
好きにするがよい。
Do as you please.
すぐに決着する。
It'll be resolved
す
soon.
ぐにな。
Soon. How soon, Beato? How soon? Beato! Beatrice! Probably like a scene or two. Let's see. All the relatives in Nanjo could be seen in the dining hall. Actually, this is probably the least consistent in terms of pacing. His stories have been, or Umineko's been, so it could be one scene, and it could be 15 scenes that take like 2 days to get through. We don't know what's going to happen next, because we might randomly get a flashback. But anyway, all the relatives and Nanjo could be seen in the dining hall. Nanjo sat alone, quietly watching the wind and rain outside. Kraus sat down in the seat of his own rank, and Natsuhi stood motionlessly at his side. The other siblings were gathered at the opposite end of the long table, whispering to each other.
そりゃ本当か。
Is that true?
ええ。
Yeah.
マリアは傘をくれた人物を
Maria said the person who gave her the
お
umbrella
父様だというのよ。
was father. It was father this time. Dun dun dun.
なんちゅうことや。
What in the world?
ということはつまりわしらの作戦は根底から崩れたっちゅうわけか。
In other words, our strategy collapsed from the roots.
作戦も何も。
Not just our
お父
strategy.
様が健在で自ら発表があると言った以上、もう兄さんとのくだらない駆け引きは一切
Since
不要だ
father's
わ。
healthy and said he'll make an announcement himself, our trivial bargaining with Nissan was completely pointless.
だな。
Rough, Ava.
クソ親父め。
Yeah, it did take a while to get to the first Twilight. It did take a while. We were doing so much flash forward and flashbacking. It took forever to get to this first Twilight, but we got here with like, what, 2 scenes taking place in the house? That old
頼らず
bastard.
にとっとと現れてくれりゃよかったんだ。
Why couldn't he have just shown himself right away without making a show of it?
おかげで俺たちは兄貴と無駄に揉めただけだ。
Thanks to that, we've just been quarreling with Aniki uselessly.
それを試したかったのかもね。
Or maybe he wanted to test us on that point.
血のつながってない私が言うのもなんだけど、あなたたちのお父様、かなり頭はいいわよ。
May not be one to talk since we aren't related by blood, but your father's very intelligent, correct?
日中のやりとりは多分、使用人の誰かに聞かれて、お父様に報告されてたのよ。
Hmm. Our arguments during the day were probably overheard by one of the servants and reported to father.
ってこと？
Incredible.
お父様の遺産が目当てで騒いでることは、もうバレバレってことじゃない。
The fact that we are making a fuss with father's inheritance as our goal right now is in the open.
ああ、なんてことよ。
Ava uncharacteristically held her head dejected, as if Kirei had said everything had been going according to Kinzo's plans from the beginning, and if this was a huge setup that had been kept up for over a year trying to find the siblings' true intentions, then they'd fallen for it completely.
お父さんの耳に入ったとまだ決まったわけやない。
We don't know for sure it reached father's ears.
いいえ、入ってるに決まってるわ。
It definitely has.
兄さん以外の全員がお父様は死んでいると言い切り、お父様の健在を信じなかった。
Everyone but Nissan claimed that father was dead. None of us believed in father's good health.
ああ、もう終わりだわ。
It's already over.
お父様は宣言するのよ。
Father will make an announcement.
兄さんこそが跡継ぎで、私たちには片翼を身にまとう資格もないと宣告するの
Son
よ。
becomes successor and he'll say we aren't even qualified to wear the one wing.
あ、私は。
姉さん、しっかり。
Hey son, get a hold of yourself.
ローザさん、マリアちゃんは本当にお父様に傘をもらったのかしら。
I wonder if Maria really received that umbrella from father.
え？どういう意味？
What do you mean?
マリアちゃんはお父様に会ったかもしれない。
Oh, we're back to this. Maria-chan might have seen
でも
father.
私たちは会ってないわ。
But we haven't seen him.
マリアちゃんがそうだと主張しているだ
She
けよ。
only claims to have seen him. Poor Maria, always a pawn here.
そんな、
What are you saying?
マリアが嘘をついているというの？
Are you saying Maria's lying? Maria believes in magic. She'll believe in anything.
落ち着けよ、ローズ。
Calm down, Rosa.
マリアちゃんが嘘をつくとは言っ
She
てね
didn't necessarily
だが
lie.
マリアちゃんは素直な子だろ。
Still, she's an innocent kid, right?
例えばだが、源氏さんあたりが、この傘はおじい様からマリア様に渡すように言われました、みたいなことを言ったら。
For example, if Genji came up to her and said something like, I was told by your grandfather to hand this to you, Maria-sama.
マリアちゃんは親父に会ったわけでなくても、おじい様に傘をもらったって言うかもし
Then
れ
even
ない
if。Maria hadn't met Dad, she still might say she got an umbrella from him, right?
そうね。
Right.
その手が考えられるわ。
The trick could work. Co-parter.
だがな、マリアちゃんはこう言ったんやろ。
What was it that
お
Maria-chan
じい
said?
様がやってきて傘を渡してくれたと。
Grandfather came and handed me the umbrella?
ええ、そう言ったわ。
It is what she
おじい
said.
様から直接受け取ったと。は
She
っ
said
き
she
り言っ
got
た
an
わ。
umbrella directly from grandfather.
直接か。
Directly.
お手上げだな。
And we're stuck. It's someone who looks like Grandpa wearing a mask. Who knows?
下手な考え、休むに似たりとはよく言ったものだわ。
They often say bad thinking's no better than
ちょっと
sleeping.
考えてみたら、傘がどうこうなんてどうでもいい問題だわ。
I mean, if you think about it a bit, this umbrella is a trivial problem.
どうしてよ。
Why is that?
マリアちゃんが兄さんに買収されて、あたかもお父様が健在であるかのように嘘を頼まれたかもしれ
Couldn't
ないでしょ。
Maria-chan be bribed by Nissan to lie and say something that made it seem like father was in good health?
傘が確かにお父様から渡されたなんて証拠、どこにもありはしない。
There's no evidence father actually handed the umbrella to her. He's gonna be here in 5 minutes, who cares?
マリアちゃんが誰から傘をもらっていようとも、
But regardless of who Maria received the
あ
umbrella
るいは
from,
傘なんかそもそももらっていなかったとしても、
assuming she was even given an umbrella in the
お
first
父
place,
様はもうじき現れる。
father will appear soon.
現れたお父様の前に、傘の問題なんて全くどうでもいいこと。
And once father's in front of us, the problem with the umbrella will become completely trivial. They talk until midnight. Kinzo doesn't show up. They open the door to the dining hall. Kinzo's fucking dead outside of it, recently murdered. Be funny.
つまり、
Oh,
傘
in a
の
weird
問題
way.
が取り沙汰されるのは、そうでない場合ということよ。
In other words, this isn't the time to gossip about the umbrella issue.
そうでない場合ってのは何
You
の
mean
ことだ。
isn't the time?
そうか。わか
I
った
see, I
で。
got it.
キリエさんが言いたいのはこういうことやろ。
This is probably what Kirie-san's saying.
お父さんもうすぐ出会ってくることになっとるが、
Father is supposed to come here very soon.
また難癖をつけて、結局現れん可能性がまだ残ってるっちゅうことやろ。
He'll get mad and won't show up, right? There's a chance.
そうか。そうよね。
It's true.
私たちの追求に、兄さんが苦し紛れの時間稼ぎでお父様が現れると出まかせを言
Maybe
ったのかもしれない。
just said father was going to appear at random in a desperate bid to buy time against our
やっ
investigation.
ぱりお父様はすでに亡くなっていて、
Father really is dead already.
兄さんは今なお、まだ健在であると嘘をつき続けている。
Nissan is lying and saying he's healthy. Well, we'll see.
つまり、お父様が現れれば、すべての策は通用し
In
ない。
short, if father appears, no schemes will be
考え
effective.
る必要もない。
There's no need to even think about the case.
私たちは訴状の魚。
We're fish on the chopping board.
運を天に任せてお父様との直接交渉に臨むしかないわ。
We'd have no choice but to leave fate to the heavens and negotiate directly with
それ
Father.
こそ土下座とげんこつを覚悟してお金を無心するしかない。
Means we'd have no choice but to let him clobber us with his fist and prostrate ourselves begging for money.
でも逆にお父様が現れなければ私たちの当初の作
If he
戦は
doesn't
何も
appear,
揺
our
るがない。
primary strategy isn't hampered in the least. Did we really need an essay? Like a 10-minute essay to go over this, Kyrie? I'm not sure we did. You see,
つまり
Rosa?
どっちに転ぼうとも
This much
今
was
更あたふた
obvious
する
from the
必要
fact
は
that they
何もない
made
っ
his
てことね
announcement. In short, no matter which way it goes, there's no need to get flustered now.
そういうこ
We'll
と。
find out when we find out.
お
That's
父
right,
様が
Kyrie.
現れれば本来の親族会議が行われるだけの
If Father
話。
shows up, we carry out the normal family
現
conference.
れなければ私たちは引き続きクラウス兄さんを
If he
追求す
doesn't,
れ
we
ばいい
keep
だけ
on
の話なの
pressuring
よ。
Krausny-san. Yep.
お父さんの機嫌が急に悪くなって
Can't let him talk his way out of this.
みたいなクラウスさんの言い逃れを決して許さんようにせんとな。
If he says father's mood suddenly gotten worse, dude, he's obviously not going to do that.
どうやら私たちが本当に検
This
討す
scene
べきは
feels interminable. I know it's a short scene, but holy shit, this feels so long. It seems we really should be trying to figure it out. I'm trying to think. What's the name of the Marvel writer people always roast for having excessive dialogue? I
兄さん
forget.
がど
Oh,
んな
well.
策を浪してこの場をごまかそうとしてくるかよ。
It seems we really should be trying to figure out is what scheme Nissan's gonna try and trick us with.
往生際の悪さは私が一番よく知っているわ。
Okay, the way he just doesn't know how to give up is something I know better than anyone.
お父様がお元気なら私たちは土下座してお金を無心し
My father as well. We'll prostrate ourselves and beg for money. Okay.
クラウス兄さんの茶番だったなら私たちは醜い兄弟喧嘩を再開し
If father's well, we'll prostrate ourselves and beg for money. If this is a farce for Kraus-sans, we'll continue our ugly sibling fight. I see.
今年も素敵な親族会議になりそうね
Sounds like this year's family conference is going to be just wonderful.
だな。
Yep.
下手な考え、休むに似たりってわけか。
So bad, thinking is no better than sleeping, hmm?
もうじき22時だな。
It's almost 10.
兄貴に催促してみるか。
Should we press Anarchy? Rudolph and the rest looked at Kraus. He was sitting down firmly and looked like he was awaiting Kinzo's arrival with an air of composure. They couldn't tell if he was really composed or if he was scheming about how to tie it to how to tie it together. If he's scheming about how to tie it together his lie. Okay.
あなた
Here.
落ち着きなさい。
Calm yourself. He'll be here.
も
Oh,
う
I know.
今更ジタ
It's
バタしても
Bendis, right?
始まらん。
It was Bendis, as I recall. Bendis dialogue, where people have like, where people use 15 words, just 15 unnecessary words and like 15 word bubbles to say yes. I remember that because there's a lot of scenes of people being like, this could have been a one-line panel. And it's like, you like apples? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. And you're like, did we really need to have 15 bubbles for that? And in case you're wondering, every single one of those lines was spoken by a different character. It's like, okay, we didn't need like 20 random lines where people just say yes 10 times to say they liked apple pie. And I don't mean between like 10 people, I mean that's like a 2-person conversation. Where like they just, say or yes and yup a lot, and you're like, it was a simple question. How is there like 10 bubbles? Oh, fun times, good memes. Calm yourself, don't get anywhere making a fuss. Yep, just chill out, he'll be here. Midnight, I assume?
源氏さんに任せよう。
Let's leave it to Genji-san.
もうじき10時ですね。
It's almost 10, isn't it? It was the time that had been set for tonight's family conference to open. And it was the time the Ashiramiya family head needed to appear. Right then, they heard the sound of footsteps approaching from the hall. There were multiple sets. Natsuhi raised her head, relieved. But because of the sound of a knock, her expression was filled with disappointment. Because Kinzo probably would not have knocked.
失礼いたします。
Please
戸締まり
excuse
の
us.
見回りが終わりました。
I finished closing up the mansion for the night. It was Goda and Kumasawa, and unlike the powerful Goda, it was rare for Kumasawa with her old body to be forced to work this late. Of course, Kraus seemed to know that.
ご苦労だった。
Good work.
こんな時間まで申し訳ないね、熊沢さん。
My apologies for making you work at such a time, Kumasawa.
いいえ。こう見えても、まだまだ夜更かしは得意でございますので。
I may not look it, but staying up late's still one of my specialties. Well, you got to do your job, I guess.
熊沢についてだけは立ち会いを外させても良いのでは。
Wouldn't it be okay to at least let Kumasawa leave without being an observer?
さすがに体に応えるでしょう。
It'll be difficult on her body, I imagine.
使用人も全員揃えろとの命令だ。
The order was to gather all of the servants as one.
逆らえん。
I cannot disobey. Tonight's family conference was clearly different from normal. On a normal year, no one was allowed to attend except family members, and to have the servants present for such a thing was unthinkable. Well, not unthinkable anymore. This year is different. All the servants were told to attend. Of course, they weren't allowed to talk. They were there as observers. Just what in the world was happening that needed to be observed by 5 servants? Even Kraus didn't know.
徹夜はこう見えても強いんですよ。
Oh, I don't look it, but I'm good at staying up late.
旦那様もサバをもりもり食べれば夜ももっとたくましくなれ
And
ま
if
す
you
よ。
stuff yourself with mackerel too, Kraus-sama, you'll be more manly at night. Well, I guess he needs the mackerel. Kraus, start chowing down.
なるほど。まだまだお元気でおられる。
I see you're still in high
100
spirits.
歳になっても元気でお勤めに違いない。
I'm sure you'll be working in such high spirits until you're 100. Damn, she has no retirement plan. That sucks.
奥様、
Madam.
勝手ながら軽食の準備をさせていただきました。
Forgive my arrogance. I prepared a light
いつで
snack.
も配膳できますので、ご指示を頂戴できればと思います。
I can serve it at any time. Feel free to order it.
ありがとう。
Ah,
やは
thank
り
you.
あなたは気が利きますね。
You really are
他
considerate.
の皆さんにコーヒーのおかわりを勧めてください。
Please, offer refills of coffee to the others.
かしこまりました。
Certainly. After nodding, Goda took the pot off towards the relatives gathered at the other end of the table. As he did, more footsteps approached from the hallway. It was a single set, and it was light. Even before the knock, they could imagine who it was. Shannon?
失礼いたします。
Excuse me.
お子様方をゲストハウスへお送りいたしました。
I've taken the children to the guest house.
ご苦労でした。
Good
今
work.
夜は特別な晩です。
Tonight is a special evening.
緊張感を欠かさないように。
Make sure you stay alert.
はい。
Yes.
かしこまりました。奥様。
Certainly, madam. Let's see. How many people are not present? It's almost 10. They got 2 hours. But I mean, who's not going to be present? Nanjo? 4 kids? Start sweating nervously. It's not 6 people, okay? It's not 6 people. It's not 6 people. I was like, are all the kids gonna die? It's a all the kids and Nanjo could die this round. That would be a rough start. Battler still hasn't died, remember? Genji had gone with Kanon to meet Kinzo. There was still no sign of their return. The hand of the clock passed 10 o'clock slightly, or 2200 hours, if you'd prefer. Once sure of that, Ava spoke to Kraus.
兄さん、もう時間だけれども、親族会議、まだ始まらないのかしら？
Are you still not going to start the family conference?
主賓の到着が遅れている。
The arrival of the guests of honor has been delayed.
しばらく待ちたまえ。
Wait a short while.
いつまで
How long?
悪いけど、時間を切ってもらうわよ。
Sorry,
お
but
父
time's
様
up.
がなかなか来ないなんてのを延々と続けて夜明けまで待たされたらたまらないわ。
I won't have you saying father hasn't quite shown up yet over and over until dawn.
親父殿のお越しになる時間を私が約束などできるものか。
How could I make a promise about the time father shows up?
何を焦っているのか
Why
ね。
are you in such a rush?
まずはコーヒーでも飲んで落ち着かんかね。
Why not drink some tea? Calm down for now.
兄貴、俺たちは親族会議のために集まってるんだ。
Aniki, we gathered here for a family
茶番じゃない。
conference. Not a farce.
あと30分は待つ。
Well, we'll wait 30 more
だ
minutes.
が、それでダメなら、書斎に
If
押し
that
かけ
doesn't
させ
work,
てもら
you'll
う
let
ぞ。
us break into study, okay?
押しかけるとは物騒な。
Break into
当主様への敬いにあまりにも欠ける行為です。
such an action would be quite lacking in respect for the head.
そうよね。
Alright,
ご
our
めんなさい。
apologies.
あと30分はおとなしくしてるわ。
We'll be good for 30 more minutes.
30分後にも同じ笑いが浮かべられるか
I
楽
look forward to
しみだ
seeing
わ。
if you can keep the same smile up 30 minutes from now.
親父殿が死んでいると本気で信じているのか。
Do you honestly believe that father's dead?
それを今さら議論する気はないわ。
No desire to discuss that now.
お父様がここにやってくればいいだけの話。
Can wait until father comes here.
兄さんを言いまかす必要なんて何もないもの。
There's absolutely no need for me to argue you down, Nissan.
後宮家当主は正当なる人間へ正当なる手続きをもって継承される。
The Ashuramiya headship will be passed on to the proper person in the proper manner.
お前が何の策を浪したところで何も抗えんよ。
No matter what you scheme, you cannot
も
resist.
ちろん私も。
Of course, the same goes to me.
何をわけのわかんないこと。
What are you trying to say? I'm looking at Ava's hairpiece. And I'm like, what is it? I think it's supposed to be a flower, but it looks interesting.
今まで散々自分こそが次期当主だと威張ってきたくせに。
You're bragging all these years about being successor yourself.
お前の言葉をそのまま返そう。
I turn your words back on you.
それを今さら議論する気はないね。
I have no desire to discuss that now.
親父殿がやってきて自らの口でそれを宣言すればいいだけの
All that
話。
matters is for father to come here and proclaim it with his
お
own
前
mouth.
を言いまかす必要などどこにもない。
There's absolutely no need for me to argue you
だ
down.
ったかな。
Right? Rouse casually turned Ava's words back on her. Of course, that added oil to Ava's anger. Anger? What? But it didn't ignite, because in that instant, the sound of a very loud knock rang out. Knock, knock. Both Genji and Kanon were usually reserved when they knocked. They wouldn't hit the door with such a violent strength. It was like a judge's gavel slamming down in a call for silence, so everyone went quiet. The door opened slightly and Genji showed himself, and then he spoke in a serious tone different from his usual one. It wasn't the tone he used when carrying out his duties, it was the tone he used when speaking for Kinzo himself. So, just by hearing Genji speak like that, the siblings were struck with a sudden tension.
皆様、ご着席を。
Everyone, take your seats. At those words, the dining hall was wrapped in total silence, and everyone hurriedly returned to their designated seats. It was as though students who had been bustling around just before homeroom had suddenly returned to their seats when the teacher came. It might have even looked humorous, but there was no way anyone would joke about it. Everyone sat in order. Shannon, Goda, Kumasawa stood up straight in a row by the wall.
栄光ある後宮家の当主にして金色に輝ける六軒島の領主
The head of the glorious Ushiromiya family and lord of Rakenjima, the island that sparkles gold. Lord Ushiromiya Kinzo has arrived. Of the double doors that led to the dining hall, Genji opened the right door from the inside and Kanon opened the left from the outside. They wheel in a scarecrow with a mask. Alas, that's not the case. And welcomed by a respectful bow from those two, majestically fluttering his cape, Kinzo appeared. His gait had a dignified weight to it, and it was hard to believe he had reportedly been at the end of his life. Genji pulled back Kinzo's seat and motioned for him to sit. But Kinzo stayed standing, signaling with his chin for Genji to move back. Welcome to Rakenjima, ladies and gentlemen. Why the frightened face, Eva?
いえ、そんな怯えてるなんて。
Why would I be frightened?
お父様が大変お元気そうなので、ほっとしただけで。
I'm just relieved to find you in excellent spirits, father.
エヴァ、お前は相変わらず面白いな。
Eva, you're as amusing as ever, aren't you?
クラウスとの賭けに負けて悔しいと素直に言えばよいのに。
Why don't you just honestly say how frustrated you are at losing your bet with Kraus?
ベアトリーチ言えないよな。
You can't say it, can you? Man, sounds like he's dying. Ava realized their conversation during the day had indeed been leaked to Kinzo, and she hung her head, turning red.
さてと、我が息子たち、娘たち、
Oh, then,
そ
my
してそ
son,
の伴侶の諸君、
my daughters and their companions.
お前たちの就寝している我が財産と当主の継承について、今宵は重要な発表をしようと思う。
I'll make an important announcement regarding my inheritance and the succession you all seem keen on.
まず最初に、
First,
私はひどく失望していることを
I must tell
伝え
you
よ
how
うと思
incredibly
う。
disappointed I am.
それは今日まで誰にもあの碑文の謎を解くことができなかったということ
After all,
だ。
until this very day, not a single one of you have been able to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Even though Kinzo said he was disappointed, a condescending smile rose to his face as though there was no way the likes of these could have solved it, and his gaze passed through all of them.
私はあれを解けた者に全てを譲り渡すつもりでいた。
I planned to hand over everything to the one who could solve
し
it.
かし、今日までに誰も解くことができず、我が全ては誰にも継承されることなく、
But
こ
none
こ
of
に
you have
至
been able to
っ
solve
て
it
いる
before
わ
today.
けだ。
And here we stand with nothing of mine passed down to anyone.
情けない。
How
お
shameful.
前たちの中にそれを受け継ぐ資格を持つ人間が現れなかったことが。
To think not one of you has come forward with the qualifications to succeed
私
me.
は心底残念であり、そして情けなくざまあないと思っている。
How truly pathetic, disappointing, and shameful. He's like, I just came here to roast these idiots and then I leave. The siblings hung their heads in silence. Of course, they would have solved it if they could. True, they couldn't deny they'd wasted a golden opportunity, but it was just so hard.
よって、
Therefore,
私は碑文の謎にて我が継承者を選ぶことをここに中止することを宣言する。
I'm proclaiming here and choosing, and now that I will suspend the use of the epitaph's riddle as a method for choosing my successor.
つまりはタイムオーバー。
In short, time's up. Ava's sitting there thinking,
ゲ
ah,
ー
fuck.
ムオーバーという
Game
わけ
over, boys. Game over.
残念だったな、お前
And what a
たち。
shame for you all.
お前たちには等しく公平にチャンスがあったはずなのに、それが今ここについえた。
Though it should have given you all an equal and fair chance, that's gone now. It truly sounded like Kinzo was making a victory proclamation.
ならば、当主は長男のクラウスに継承されるのか?
In that case, will my oldest son Kraus succeed the headship?
答えはノーである。
The answer? No.
え?
What? Kraus suddenly incredibly awkward.
わかっているよな、クラウス。
You understand, right, Kraus?
お前には確かに次期当主という肩書きを与えた。
I mean, I certainly gave you the title of successor.
だが、お前はそれに溺れただけだ。
But really, all you did was let it go to your head, my dude.
次期当主というのは
You know what an successor is?
どういう意味かわかるか?
Good question. What is a successor? Define that,
お父
please.
さんの後を継ぐという意味です。
It means the person who inherit your position after you.
違う!
Wrong. Wrong? Really?
次期当主というのは当主が約束されたものではない。
Wrong. The position of successor isn't something that's guaranteed by the current head at all.
いいか、クラウス。
Listen, Kraus.
二度と教えないからよく聞けよ。
I will not tell you this again.
次期当主というのはな、
A
自
successor.
分以外にも当主を狙う奴がいたら、
A successor is what you call someone who finds everyone else who's after the headship.
その花を徹底的にへし折って二度と逆らえないようにしてやる奴のことを言うのだ。
Breaks their noses and makes it so they can never disobey him again. Interesting premise. Okay.
これは何も当主だけのことではない。
It's not something that can be said of the headship.
金についても言える。
It's the same with money.
金持ちというのは金を持っている奴のことではない。
A rich person doesn't mean someone who has money.
自分より金を持っている奴すべてを叩き潰し、
It means someone who crushes everyone who has more money than them. Okay. Okay. I'm not gonna
そ
oppose
し
that.
て誰よりも金をかき集められる奴のことを言うのだ。
Someone who scrabbles together more money than anyone else.
才能も同じ。
And it's same with talent.
天才とは才能に秀でた奴のことではない。
So a genius is not someone you call a person blessed with talent, but instead
自分より秀でた奴をすべて叩き潰し、
a person who crushes everyone with more talent than themselves.
自分を天才とすべての人間に呼ばせることを力とカリスマで強要でき
A
る奴
person
を
who
指
could
して
coerce
いる。
geniuses and everyone else to call them that using strength and
お前
charisma.
はそのすべてにおいて勘違いしてい
And
る
you
の
have a
だよ。
mistaken impression when it comes to all these
だ
things.
から次期当主の器ではないのだよ。
You aren't of the right caliber to be my successor. Okay.
勉強になります。
I'll take your words to heart. Perhaps that truly was Kinzo's philosophy. As a result of faithfully carrying out that rant-like philosophy of his, Kinzo had glorified the Yoshiramiya family to the state it was in today. It may be hard to imagine after his immersion in the occult in recent years, but that brutally overbearing outlook was no more or less than Ushiramiya's, Kinzo's charisma and aura.
このような不甲斐ないクラウスに後ろ宮家のすべてを継承する資格などない。
Such an unsatisfactory person is not qualified to inherit everything of the Yoshiramiya family.
ならば、エヴァ、ルドルフ、ローザの3人にはあるのか?
In this case, is Ava, Rudolph, or Rosa qualified?
これもノーである。
Again, the answer is no.
非分の謎を解けず、さりとてクラウスを引きずり下ろす策も浪せず。
You are unable to solve the riddle, and you are unable to use a scheme to drag Kraus down.
お前たちにできたのは3人寄せ集めで共同戦線を張ってクラウスから金をせびろうとしたことだけ。
All three of you, all the three of you managed to do was gather together in a united front to try and extort money from Kraus. And even that scheme was thoughtless. Oof.
クラウス一人を追い詰めることさえできやしない。
Can't even corner Kraus by himself?
情けないことこの上な
It'd be
し。
nothing more shameful. Oh my goodness, he's just going in at everyone.
次期当主の座をどんなことをしてでも奪い取ろうという貪欲さが足りぬ。
You lack the avarice to steal the position of successor by any means, so you want us to assassinate Kraus? That seems a little bit
欲
overkill.
しいもののためにはいかなる犠牲も払い、どこまでも貪欲となるべし。
In order to get what you
強
want,
欲となるべし。
you should sacrifice everything, becoming as covetous and greedy as possible. Yes, he wants them to murder him. Alright.
幸運の女神は貪欲なる者にこそ微笑む。
The goddess of luck smiles upon the
その
great.
野生の精神がないお前たち三人に、クラウス同様に継承の資格などありはしない。
You three who don't have that wild spirit are as unfit for the succession as Kraus is. Eva and the rest had no words to respond with, and they couldn't calculate what Kinzo was about to say. Was Kinzo actually planning to proclaim that no one would succeed the headship? If so, that would work to Eva, Rudolph, and Rosa's advantage. After all, in the end, they'd just have to renegotiate everything among siblings after Kinzo's death, splitting the inheritance evenly. It would surely be more troublesome if a specific person's name was raised and proclaimed to be the successor. But would Kinzo really say something to benefit any of the four siblings after demeaning them so much?
まさか誰にも引き継がない財産を全て慈善団体にでも寄付するとか言い出すつもりじゃないでしょう
I don't
ね。
think he's gonna say that because no one will succeed him, he'll donate all his fortune to charity or something, right?
お父様ならやりかねないという恐怖はある
I
わ。
wouldn't put it past father. Afraid.
頭に血が上ってるだ
The
けさ。
blood's just risen to his head.
しばらくは聞き流すしかね
We can't do anything but let him talk for now.
ではお父さん、
Then father,
次期当主についてはどういうお考えをお持ちですか？
what thoughts do you have regarding the succession to the headship? Alright,
お
let's hear
前
it.
たちに完全に失望した以上、私は誰に引き継ぐ気も失った。
Since I'm so utterly disappointed in all of you, I've lost the desire to hand it over to anyone.
よって、後宮家はこれで終わる。
Therefore, the Ashiramiya family will end here.
私の代で終わりだ。
It ends with my generation.
そういうわけには。
後宮家など、あの震災の時にとっくに滅んでおるわ。
Yashiramiya family was crushed long ago in that earthquake.
今の後宮家など、私が束の間だけ見ている黄金の幻想に過ぎぬの
The current
だ。
family is nothing but an illusion of gold I'm glimpsing for an instant.
私が夢より覚めれば終わる程度のもの。
Will end when I awaken from my slumber.
この世などすべては夢、幻。
Everything in this world is a dream, an illusion.
生など、死という目覚めの前には白チュームと同じよ。
Life is but a daydream before the awakening called death. My goodness, Kinzo. Alright.
ああ、そうだ。元よりそうだったのだ。
That was from the beginning. Alright.
私が死ぬ時に全てを失うのがベアトリーチェとの
That I would
契
lose
約。
everything I
そ
die.
して
And I die
呪
as
い。
part of Beatrice's contract and her curse. Okay. No charity, no
さ
nothing.
あ行くか
It all
ベア
disappears.
トリーチェ。
As if I'd let you
お前を
Beatrice.
捕らえるのはこの私だ。
I'll be the one to capture you. Okay.
今宵、それは現実となるだろう。
Tonight, the goal will be realized. Alright, good luck. Alright, old man. Time to put you back in your bed. He's going a little bit kooky. For a while, Kinzo was overcome with cackling and his eyes bulged. His eyes usually bulge. Whenever he talked about Beatrice, it was always both eloquent and insane.
お前たちのような愚かなる息子たちなどまさに白昼夢。
Foolish children such as yourselves are but daydreams.
初めからいなかったも同
So
然
you were
よ。
never there from the beginning.
消えろ、覚めろ。
Disappear. Wake up.
真実の私のまどろみとともに消え去ってしま
Disappear
え。
from the doze of truth that I am. What? Okay.
私を継承するに値する何者も築き上げてこなかった出来損ないどもめ。
You failures that have not built up anything that makes you worthy to succeed me. Man, he's still going at them. Damn. Sucks to be any of these guys. The roast they're getting. Kinzo-san. Oh, Nanjo.
よろしいかな。
If I may. What if you may? What?
何か
What is it?
我が友よ。
My friend? What is it, my friend? Nanjo nervously raised his hand, asking to speak. Kinzo allowed him to do so. Okay.
金蔵さんの気持ちもわかる。
I understand how you feel, Kinzo.
子供たちを愛するがゆえに、
As you love your kids, you expect a lot from them. He's gonna try and argue on their behalf. I see.
大きな期待を寄せ、
As a
それ
parent
ゆえ
and
に
a
期
grandparent
待を裏
myself,
切られたような気持ちになる親心。同じく
I
子供
understand
や
that
孫
parental
を持
affection
つ
can
身
make you
と
feel
し
as
て
though your
よ
expectations
く
were
わかります。
betrayed.
しかし、金蔵さんは非凡だ。
You're extraordinary, Kinzo.
天才だ。
Genius.
そんな金蔵さんに追いついて当然というんでは、ちょいとひどすぎるんじゃないかね。
Saying it's only natural for them to catch up to you a little too harsh? They just need to find a witch to give them a shit ton of gold, right? Despite that, Kraus, Ava, Rudolph, and
クラ
Rosa,
スさんもエヴァさんも、ルドルフさんも
all
ロー
of their
ザさん
parents
も、
are
そ
partners,
してその伴侶の皆さんも、
have done their very best to catch up with you,
頑張って
and
い
they've
ます。
all catastrophically failed, correct? They've all failed.
ほほう。
Oh?
よく頑張って、どの程度の金を稼ぎ上げたというのか。
And how much money have they built up with this doing their best?
事業にことごとく失敗して借金を抱え、
After these cowards fail completely in their ventures and gain
い
debt,
まだに私のすねをかじろうという間抜けども
and
の、
they still try to
ど
sponge
こ
off
が
me.
よく頑張っていると言えるの
How
か。
can you say they did their very best? They might have done their best, they just suck.
この世のすべては金として結晶しているのだ。
Money is the crystallization of everything in this
そ
world.
れがつかめぬということは、この世を掴んでおらぬというこ
You
と。
can't grasp that. You cannot grasp the world.
魂がこの世をしっかり掴んでおらぬということは、生きるに値せぬということだ。
If a life cannot strongly grasp this world, it doesn't deserve to live.
消えろ。
Disappear.
我
Oh,
が生と現実から消え去ってしまえ。
disappear from my life and reality.
それは暴論です。
That is a somewhat reckless argument.
その理論から言ったら、私だって生きていてはいけないことになる。
With that logic, even I must not live.
そんな私でも、金蔵さんと過ごしたチェスの時間は、共に価値あるものだったと信じていますぞ。
Time I spend playing chess with you was worthwhile for both of us, Kinzo.
世の中、お金で買えないものもたくさんあることを、金蔵さん自身が誰よりもご存知のはずだ。
You should know better than anyone else that there are things in this world that can't be bought with money. He's obsessed with Beatrice. He can't buy Beatrice with money. That's a good thought. That's a good thought, Nanjo. I like that one. As the siblings motionlessly hung their heads, they cheered Nanjo on inside their hearts. But not one of the siblings could offer their opinion in front of Kinzo in a rage, but Kinzo's closest friend Nanjo alone was allowed to. Even though Kinzo raged so fiercely after being admonished by Nanjo, he nodded several times as though in agreement. The surprisingly obedient side of him might have seemed cute, but there was no one here who would laugh.
確かに息子さんたちは 金蔵さんほどの財は築き上げられなかったかもしれない。
Maybe true, your children haven't built up as great a fortune as you have, Kinzo.
それでも私から見れば羨ましいほどのお金持ちではあり
And
ます
so they're rich enough to make me jealous.
しかしお金だけでなくお金では買えないたくさんのものを築き上げました。
And so, besides money, they built up many things that cannot be bought with
それに
money.
ついて言えば金蔵さんにも負けないくらいです。
When it comes to that, they are in no way inferior to you, Kinzo-san.
ほう。
Oh?
金で買えぬ何を積み上げたというのか。
What do you claim they built up that cannot be bought with money?
幸せです。
Happiness.
家族です。
Family.
彼らは素晴らしい伴侶を見つけ、子を産み、それぞれの幸せな家庭を築かれています。
They found wonderful partners and children. Each has built up their own happy homes.
あなたの一族を繁栄させ、そして孫を連れ帰ってきてくれました。
Glorified your family name and brought back grandchildren.
孫はいいですぞ。
Grandchildren are wonderful. Nanjo just likes grandchildren.
私たち年寄りは、私たちには見ることもかなわぬ新しき時代を生きるだろう若き孫に、無限の未来を想像するのです。
Older people can look at these young grandchildren who live in a new era we will not even be given a chance to see, and in them we can imagine an endless future.
それは老境の唯一の楽しみではありま
That's
せ
the
んか。
sole entertainment we have in our old age. Nanjo is a very boring person.
思い出しなさい、金蔵さん。
Remember, Kinzo.
彼らが初めて孫を連れて帰ってくれた時の喜びを。
Remember your joy when they first brought back their
息子さん
grandchildren?
たちは、そして孫たちは、金蔵さんの偉業を後の世まで伝え、模範としてくれることでしょう。
Your children and your grandchildren will carry on your great works onto future generations, setting an
それ
example.
はお金がいくらあろうとも孤独なる身にはなせぬことで
It's
す。
something an individual cannot accomplish no matter how much money they have. The siblings nodded in agreement. Certainly Kinzo looked happy when his grandchildren had just been born, back when he still had some sanity in his heart. However, did Kinzo's heart still contain a human's warmth?
それはつまり私が成した巨万の富の代わりに
In exchange for the vast riches I
金
created,
を儲ける代わりに孫を儲けたとそういうわけか。
instead of gaining money, I've gained my grandchildren?
いえいえ、
It's
そう
not
いう
quite
意
what
味
I...
では。
False equivalency?
私が稼ぎ上げた数百億という財産の代わりに息子たちは一人ずつ孫を設けたというわけか。
In exchange for the several tens of billions in wealth I've built up, I've gained a single grandchild from each of my children?
それは素晴らしい。つまりは100億を投じて命を一つ生み出したと。
So I've created a single life using 10 billion
そうい
yen.
うわけだ。
That's how it is?
これは面白い。錬金術的に考えて実に面白い例えではないか。
Interesting example in the alchemical sense, right?
ほう、なんと価値ある孫たちなのか。
Why, what valuable
素
grandchildren?
晴らしい。
Wonderful.
素晴らしい。
Yeah,
そう
my...
なのか、クラウス。
Is that right,
お
Kraus?
前の娘には100億の価値があるというの
Is
か。
your daughter worth 10 billion yen? Is he gonna say no? Kraus couldn't answer instantly. Kraus, you suck. It wasn't that he didn't have confidence in his daughter, it was because he didn't have a clue what Kinzo was trying to test him with in his question. When Natsuhi was then pressed for an answer, she responded, breaking Kraus's silence with an answer of her own interpretation.
はい。
Yes?
ジェシカは100億のお金を積まれても手放せない娘です。
Jessica's a daughter I wouldn't let go of even for 10 billion yen.
その意味において、お金では数えられない価値があると信じています。
In that sense, I believe she has a value that can't be measured with money. Kraus is a terrible father.
ほう。
Oh.
100億の価値があると言い切るか。
So you say for certain she's worth 10 billion.
ほほう。エヴァはどうか。
What about you,
お
Eva?
前のところのジョージはどうだ。
What about your George? Since Natsuhi had answered that way, Eva naturally came up with her own answer as well. Even though Ava should have known better than to respond to a provocative question like this, she answered as well.
お父様。
Yes, father.
ジョージには100億の、いいえ、それ以上の価値があります。
George is worth 10 billion. No, more than that.
それはお金で買えないという抽象的な意味ではありません。
And that is not in the abstract sense of things money can't
ジョージ
buy.
は必ずや自らの価値に等しいだけの財産を築き上げるでしょう。
George will certainly build a fortune equal to his
お父様の偉業を継ぐにふさわしい孫となるはずです。
He'll become a grandson worthy of carrying on your great works, father. Ava sent a glance at Hideyoshi and Natsuhi as if she'd scored a point. When she heard what Ava had said, Natsuhi was about to add more praise for her daughter, but stopped at a glare from Kraus.
なるほど。
I see.
ならばルドルフはどうか。
What about you,
お
Rudolph?
前のところのバトラはどうだ
What
と
about
いう
your
の
battler
か。
and his... What about his daughter, too? Remember that daughter? The daughter?
うちのバトラーはジョージ君に比べられちゃ威張れることは何もね。
There's nothing about battler I can brag about.
誘拐されて身代金を100億よこせと脅されたらのしをつけて進呈したい程度のやつではある。
If he was kidnapped and we were threatened with a ransom of 10 billion, I'd feel like sticking a bow on the guy and letting him have him.
さらにバカで無鉄砲だ。
On top of that, he's an idiot and reckless.
偉そうな夢やできるわけもねえことを語り出す。
He talks about grand dreams and things that couldn't be
その
done.
一点においてはバカ100億人分に匹敵する大バカだろうさ。
I guess in that way, he's a super idiot worth the equivalent of 10 billion normal idiots.
だがバカもできねえ凡人どもが100億人束になってもできねえことを
I'm sure that guy could do
とあい
things
つは
even
や
a
り
group
出すだろうよ。
of 10 billion average people couldn't do.
俺はどうせこけるだろうとは思って
Well,
る。
I'm sure he'd fall flat
世
on
の
his
中
face.
は甘くね
The world's not easy,
え。しかし
but at least
奴の人生は干渉して愉快なものになるだろうことだけは疑ってねえぜ。
there's no doubt watching over his life will be more fun than looking at 10 billion average people. Ava clicked her tongue at that clever style of speech, which would probably match Kinzo's tastes. Apparently, Rudolph did that on purpose. We grinned back at her, and I'm just thinking, what about your daughter? What about your 6-year-old daughter? No mention of her? I guess she doesn't. She doesn't count?
マリアはどうか。
What of Maria?
マリアは私の可愛いたった一人の娘
Rosa's
です。
sweating. She's like, I need to lie so hard here. Everyone else kind of likes their kid, and she's just like, I fucking hate Rosa. Oh my god, I have to lie to Kinzo. Mari is my adorable and only daughter. She's cute and your only daughter. To our knowledge, this is true.
お金の価値で測れるものではあ
Her
りません。
value cannot be measured with money. She's like, yeah, okay.
それだけです。
That is all.
なるほど。
I see.
夢と未来、奇跡と可能性は我が魔力の源泉だ。
Dreams in the future, the miracles and possibilities are the source of my
希
magic
望を
power.
なくしていかなる魔法も力を持ちはしない。
No magic without hope holds any strength.
すでに凡百であることを証明してしまったお前たちには何を期待することもかなわないが。
Can't expect any more from you who have proven to be
な
average.
るほど。孫たちには未来の可能性があり、魔法的奇跡を期待する価値はあり得るというわけか。
My grandchildren hold future possibilities, and expecting a magical miracle from them may be worthwhile.
それをもって100億以上の価値と言ってみせるなら、わからぬでもない。
He's basically. I like how he's just like, well, you four are admitting you're kind of. You four are useless, but hey, your kids might be more useful. I can see that. The unknown possibilities are probably worth more than realized losses. Probably. And again, Kinzo's like, yes, improbability sounds good. That's it right up my alley with magic. When Kinzo got in a rage, he wouldn't let anyone speak up, but even so, he'd sometimes accept something of his own while yelling by himself and change his own opinion. That's what it felt like to the siblings. Apparently, even though Kinzo had been disgusted by his unsuccessful children and cast them away as being unfit for the inheritance of his title or fortune, he wasn't sure about his grandchildren. At this rate, he might soon say the inheritance would go to his grandchildren instead of the siblings. As the siblings sat in fear of what their fickle and short-tempered father might suddenly think of next, they carefully watched his every move. It's okay.
考えを少し改めよ。
Allow me to change my thinking a bit. Okay. I'm listening, Kinzo. What are you thinking?
お前たちに我が全てを継承する気は全くない。
I have no desire to hand over all I have to any of you.
しかし、孫たちの誰かにその資格があるかどうかを問うのはなかなかに面白いことだ。
It would be quite interesting to question the grandchildren to see if one of them is qualified.
いつまでも子供だと思っておったが。
I always thought of them as mere kids.
ひょっとすると、私を驚かせるような原石のきらめきを見せてくれるかもしれぬ。
I'll find a shining gem amongst them that'll catch me off guard. Anja just sitting at home wailing. It's like poor Anja doesn't get an opportunity to inherit the wealth because she was sick. Feels bad, man. Or did he just forget she exists? Because Rudolph certainly forgot his own daughter existed.
そしてそれを期待し試すのは。
And testing them for that would be.
なるほど。我が余生最後の道楽としても捨てがたい。
Yes, it'd be a shame to abandon that final side trip in my remaining life.
さて、これはどうしたものか。
What shall I do?
ジョージならお父様の後を継ぐにふさわしいと私は自信を持って推薦できます。
I can with confidence recommend George as someone fitting to follow after you. They've acclaimed that right away. Nazi looked like she was about to follow, but Kraus gave her a look telling her to restrain herself. So she swallowed her words. Nazi's like, I want to say Jessica's good, and Kraus is like, please be realistic. She's not good. She's not proven herself yet.
勇ましいではないか。では、こうしよう。
Let's do this then.
後宮家の家督と財産のすべてを受け継ぐ資格があるかどうか、孫たちに個別に問おうではないか。
How bold. Let's do this. I'll individually question the grandchildren to see if they're qualified to succeed the Ashirmiya family inheritance and wealth.
しかし
However,
それはお前たちの誰かに間接的に家督を引き継ぐという意味ではない。
will indirectly receive the
お
inheritance.
前たちにはすでに失望している。お前たちに与えるものは今や何もない。
There's no longer anything I have to give you.
何もな。私が問うのは孫たちだ。
The ones I'll question are my grandchildren.
そして引き継ぐかもしれないのも孫た
And the
ち
ones
だ。
who might succeed me are my grandchildren.
そ
Alright.
れを決して勘違いするな。
Make sure you do not mistake this. Understood?
お父さんの判断に従います。
I shall obey father's decision.
同じくだ。
Same here. Rudolph, very confident. He's like, man, Battler's a fucking idiot. Anyway, I'm confident he's gonna get it.
親父の決定に従うぜ。
I'll go along with what he decides.
Yeah.
He's probably internally thinking, oh god, is this a combination for how fucked we are? Like, it's like, I think this is going to George. That's what he's sweating, right? What about you, Aniki?
もちろんよ。お父様が賢明な判断をされると信じています。
I believe father will make a wise judgment.
私もお父様の判断に従います。
I will also obey father's decision. I feel like someone's getting I feel like Rudolph's like, I wish my kid wasn't sick. Maybe the 6-year-old has a chance? He's like, do I bet on Battler or a 6-year-old? I would so much rather prefer the 6-year-old. I wish there were beads of sweat on Rudolph's face, but that is his normal sweating face. I don't think he has a drop of sweat one. Good luck, Rosa.
孫たちをどのように試すかは考えよう。
I'll think of how to test my grandchildren.
そしてそれはお前たちには今さら関係のない話だ。
Which means this is no longer any business of yours.
当主継承とお前たちはもはや何の関係もないのだか
After
ら。
all, none of you are involved with the succession in any way now.
だからこの場ではお前たちに関係のある もう一つの話をしようではないか。
Right now, perhaps we should discuss a different matter that does involve you.
もう一つの話とは。
A different matter?
うん。
Indeed.
それこそが今宵の、そして後宮家最後の親族会議の本当の理由だ。
It's tonight's true purpose, and the true purpose for this final is Shiromiya family conference as well.
お前たちに求めるのは議論でも意見でもない。
I have no desire to hear your thoughts and opinions.
我が儀式に。
Oh, nice. I demand only your assistance.
協力を求めるためだ。
Assistance in my ceremony.
儀式
？Ceremony?
静かに。
Shh, quiet.
お父様がお話をなさっている最中よ。
Oh, there's talking now. Good luck. Rudolph and the rest automatically narrowed their brows at the occult-like word. Did he be planning to start a strange ceremony involving Beatrice's resurrection again? Oh, has he done this before? And he wanted their assistance? What in the world is he planning to do? In the past, he carried out many eccentricities he called by the same name, such as starting to burn a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with the stench. The siblings, the ceremony was nothing more than one of the aged Kinzo's obnoxious hobbies.
お父さん、儀式とは一体。
What do you mean by that?
私たちに協力できることなら何でもご協力します。
If we can assist you, we'll do anything.
ねえ、ローザ。
Right, Rosa?
ええ。
Yes.
でも、一体
What in
何
the
を
world is it?
私が碑文に刻んだ通りの儀式だ。
Ceremony is inscribed in my
ベアトリーチェを蘇らせ、黄金鏡の扉を開く儀式である。
Ceremony to revive Beatrice and open the door to the golden.
肉体の檻を逃れ、私の指の隙間を嘲笑うようにすり抜けるあの魔女を、今度こそ捕らえ。
Who escaped her cage of flesh and sneeringly slipped through my fingers I shall now capture.
屈服させる私の最大の秘術だ。
It's forced into submission with my greatest hidden art.
そのために、
And for that sole purpose,
13人もの命を生贄に捧げねばならぬが
I must
な。
offer 13 people as sacrifices.
13人もの生贄は容易には集まらぬ。
Gathering 13 people's worth of sacrifices is no easy feat.
しかし、今宵は親族会
But
議。
tonight is the family
こ
conference.
れだけの大人数が六軒島に集まった。
Many adults have gathered on
この
Rockinjima.
儀式が行えるのは、今日を置いて他にないのだ。
And there could be no other day on which to carry out this ceremony. Taken literally, it sounded like he was telling them to become human sacrifices for his dark ceremony and die. And that's kind of what's happening. Ridiculous. Was it some kind of metaphor? Well, they didn't have a clue what he was trying to illustrate. The siblings whispered together about what Kinzo was saying.
親父は何を言ってるんだ。
What's out going on about this time?
悪い病
Is
気
this
か
his usual sickness?
だろうな。
Probably.
しばらく黙って聞いてやる。
Listen quietly for now.
ごめんなさい、お父様。
Sorry,
どういう
Father.
意味でおっしゃられているのか
I
わ
don't
か
know
り
what
か
you
ねます。
understand what you mean by that.
何が分かりかねるというの
What
か。
is it you don't understand?
私は至極単純に話している。
I'm making it extremely
ベアト
simple.
リーチェを蘇らせる儀式のために、この島にいる人間から13人を選び、生贄に捧げようと言っている。
I told you. I'll choose 13 of the people on this island and offer them as sacrifices in a ceremony to revive Beatrice.
何の価値もないお前たちも、我が儀式の生贄としてなら、大いに役に立てるというわけだ。
Even worthless people like you can be useful as sacrifices in my ceremony. Ah, the classic. Even if you're bad at something, you can still be useful as a bad example. Perfect.
聞け。
Listen.
これは冗談でも何で
It's
もな
no
い。
joke.
我が人生の最後に欲する最後の賭け、最後の儀式である。
This is my final bet, my final ceremony, the last I will desire in my
この
life.
島には今、13人を超える人間がいる。
There are now more than 13 humans on this
つま
island.
りこの膨大な数の生贄を容易に満たせるだけの頭数が存在するというわけ
A
だ。
head count that can easily satisfy the massive number of sacrifices I
お前
require.
たちは我が儀式の生贄となれ。
Become the sacrifices for my ceremony.
金蔵さん、
Kinzo,
あんたまさか
I've heard
あの話は本気だったのかね。
serious what you said about then, were you?
冗談ではなく。
Wasn't a joke? Unusually for him, Nanjo's face changed color and he stood up and shouted. It seemed this wasn't the first time Nanjo had heard all this dark talk about 13 sacrifices.
すまんな我が友よ。
I'm sorry, my
あれ
friend.
は冗談でもなんでもない。
It was no joke, nor anything of the
我
sort.
が生涯を賭して最後に挑む儀式でありゲ
It's
ーム
what
な
I
の
bet my
だ
life
よ。
on. The final ceremony, the final game I'll attempt.
そう、これはゲームだ。
Yes, it's the
お
game.
前たちにとって我が財産を得て島を出ることがゴールならば、それを達する方法は2つしかない。
If gaining my fortune and leaving the island's your goal, there are 2 ways to achieve it.
13人の生贄から逃れ見事生き残り、今更ながら碑文の謎を解いて儀式を止めてみせるか。
Will you escape being chosen as one of the 13 sacrifices and spectacularly survive by solving the riddle of the epitaph and stopping the ceremony? He just said you could stop the ceremony. If you solve the riddle, by the way. Ava was not obligated to continue it, but she wanted to continue it by choice because she wanted to kill all of her siblings so they wouldn't get any of the money they agreed on sharing.
私を殺し、
Or you kill
こ
me
の儀式を止めてみせるか。
and thereby stop this
この
ceremony.
2つしかない。
Those are your 2 options. By now, everyone wasn't just whispering, but chattering and muttering away. Even the siblings had noticed Kinzo was beginning to act abnormally.
お父さん、少しお疲れなのでは。
Father, are you a little tired?
源氏さん、お父さんは少
Genji,
し
has
酒
his
を。
father been drinking? The man drinks 24/7. Sorry, Kraus.
いいえ。
No.
親方様はご明晰であらせられます。
The master is sensible.
悪いけど親父、
Sorry, Dad.
何を言い出すのかさっぱりだぜ。
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
親父が愛する魔女を蘇らせるために、どんな怪しげな儀式を追っ始めても、そりゃ自由だぜ。
Dad's free to start up any weird ceremony he wants to revive the witch he
親
loves.
父の趣味なんだからな。
That's his hobby.
だが、そいつに巻き込まれて、生贄にされるのはまっぴらごめんだぜ。
But getting wrapped up in that, and being made into a human sacrifice, that's a little more than I can handle.
ルドルフ、お父様の話に口を挟む気？
Rudolph, are you trying to interrupt Father?
何言ってんだ兄貴。
You're talking about anarchy.
こんな物騒な話に、はいそうですかでうなずけるわけねえだろ。
You expect me to listen to something that shady and be like, oh yeah, really? Was the ceremony Kinzo mentioned literally something disturbing? Or was it some kind of test to choose the successor? It seemed Rudolph had taken it literally, but Ava apparently still believed it's something like a test or examination to find a proper successor. But Kinzo responded with a clear smile.
さて、私からの話は以上だ。
That's all I have to
異
say.
議も意見も何にも必要はない。
No objections or opinions are necessary for
4
me.
人の不出来なる息子たちがいたという私の夢が覚めるだけの話な
I'll
のだ。
simply awaken from my dream of having 4 unsuccessful
お
children.
前たちにとってこれより目の前で起こることはまさに夢、幻、あるいはこの世のものと思えぬ理解に
That's quite the
及ばぬ世界だろう。
To all of you, that what will occur before your very eyes may seem like a dream, an illusion, something that couldn't conceivably be of this world, and a world that defies understanding.
しかしそれこそが
But that in
我
of
が
itself
現実。
is my
お
reality.
前たちという出来の悪き浅い夢は今こそようやく覚めるのだ。
I will finally awaken from the shallow, useless dream that all of you are.
さあ、もうゲームは始まっているぞ。
The game has already begun.
これだけいては誰から命を奪えばいいものやら。
With this many of you here, I can take lives starting with anyone.
さらばだ、出来の悪き息子たちよ。
I can take lives starting with anyone. And so long, my successful, unsuccessful
そ
children.
して生涯でただ一度、そして最後に 私の儀式のために役に立て。
And for the final and only time in your lives, be useful for my
い
ceremony.
でよ、ペンドラゴンの記念兵たちよ。
Arise, Pendragon's memorial troops. Wait, he's got the archer squad? When Kinzo raised his arms high like an opera singer and yelled as though toward a packed audience. The air shattered like glass and the outlines of 3 people who supposedly hadn't been invited to the island appeared.
シエスタ45、ここに。
You're gonna be murdered by a girl with bunny. You're gonna be murdered by a random girl with bunny ears. Chester 45 here.
シエスタ410、ここに。
Chester 410 here. How many people are in this room? Everyone but the kids, right?
シエスタ00、ここにであります。
Chester 00 right here. The first 00? Wouldn't that be triple O? 3 girls with strange forms suddenly appeared behind Kinzo. Where from? When? Who? Who are they? The humans were thrown off balance and their minds went blank because they spent all the time thinking they lost their last chance to survive.
お前たちには6人の射殺を許可する。
You have permission to shoot 6 to death.
標的は自由だ。
I leave the choice of targets to you.
攻撃開始。
Begin your attack.
自由射撃、了解であります。
Unrestricted firing.
良
Understood,
き
sir.
標的に感謝。
Thank you for granting us such excellent
カット
targets.
自由射撃開始。
Everyone, commence unrestricted firing.
にひ、一番乗りだに。
First one in. Alright. When 410 scratched the air with her finger, a golden bow appeared in empty space and she pulled its string. The golden arrow that had been readied there was fired off without hesitation, flew around the room, leaving haphazard golden curves everywhere, and chose Natsuhi from among those sitting at the table of the family conference, pulverizing the left half of her face. Flesh and deep red blood scattered around, leaving massive red splatter marks on the relatives' faces with pure white tablecloth. Silence fell. Despite the massive number of deep red spots left on the tablecloth, no one could understand why Natsuhi's head was half smashed, nor why she was hanging her head as though dozing while still sitting. Oh, so is that what it looks like when the Siester twins, fire at you? Normally? Interesting. It looks like a blunt weapon. Good to know. Supposedly, that is. Interesting, they're linked to him now. What's 00 look like? A weapon of the Sisters' cavalry, which serves Pendragon. 00 is their calm, composed leader. However, this is merely the role demanded of her. She's more frail by nature. 00 excels at reconnaissance and serving as an advanced guard, displaying extreme supremacy and unexpected counters. However, her excessively powerful fighting strength has been called inhumane, and it isn't rare for her to be lynched and abused when she surrenders on the battlefield. Her one eye silently speaks to that. Alright. Do we have an update? Since we have 00 in the list. Nope, that's a different timeline. Do we have Natsuhi's death already? Nope. Interesting. 00 is here, though. And they watched on in silence. Those sitting on Natsuhi's right-hand side were silent for a relatively long time, but those sitting to her left were not. Because those people sitting on that side have been shown how her head had been smashed open like a watermelon or a pomegranate, and could even see inside her. Oh.
まずは一人。
One down.
夏日か。最後まで運のない女だ。
Natsuhi, was it? A luckless woman to the end.
次。
Next.
00射撃。
00 firing. After scratching the empty air in the same way and readying her bow, 00 fired as well. After it flew around at high speeds like the golden arrow 410 release, drawing a convoluted curve in the same manner, it smashed half of Rudolph's head in the same way as he looked at Natsuhi in shock, killing him instantly. These guys are really bad at, like, running, but, you know, RNG is RNG. This time, everyone managed to avoid freezing up mentally. They realized that a fearsome murder started playing out right in front of them, as Kinzo had said, and they realized Kinzo would probably kill more. Shrill screams burst out. Even so, they didn't know what to do, or they could only keep screaming and flapping their wide open mouths like goldfish. What do you think you're doing? Run! As Eva asked Kinzo that in total shock, Hideyoshi, who had come to his senses faster than anyone else and rose to his feet, pulled at her arm from behind. However, merciless fate's choice for the third sacrifice was Hideyoshi. Saw that one coming. Just like the two before him, half of Hideyoshi's head was neatly smashed, and the right side of his head, which happened to be facing that direction at the time, had been blown away with its contents exposed like a watermelon or pomegranate. Still holding Eva, Hideyoshi slumped backwards and fell down. Still held by her beloved husband, Eva fell over backwards with him. Is Eva gonna die just so NJ can be like, what the fuck am I watching? I think NJ's watching now, right? Eva screamed. It was only natural. The face she'd been looking for was half lost, and the crushed skull and mashed brains, the crushed jaw all lay bare.
45. 着弾命中
45. Impact. It's a hit.
見事だ。
Spectacular.
続けて撃て。
Fire again.
残りは3人であ
Three
る
more
ぞ。
remain. Is Eva going to die in this round?
お父さん
Father.
これは何の真似です
What is this supposed to be? When Crow stood up forcefully and was about to rush Kinzo, Double O blocked him. With her slender-looking body, she held back Kroos with just the palm of her right hand. He still tried to resist and attack Kinzo, so Double O lifted Kroos by the nape of his neck and twisted into his Adam's apple with her thumb. It seemed to be painful, and Kroos was overcome with agony.
みんな逃げろ
Oh, he's in trouble.
警察
Get the police.
救急
Ambulance.
早く
Dude, people who are missing half their heads don't recover.
皆さん逃げましょう
Everyone, let's escape.
逃げるんだ
Nanjo's sharp words finally dissolved the spell that had been holding them in their chairs. When Goda and Kumasawa each tried to escape from the dining hall first, 410 moved in an instant and appeared there, blocking the way.
にひすっとろいに
You sir are slow.
逃がすと思ったかに
Did you think I'd let you escape?
お助け
Help.
ゴーダさん伏せて
Goda, duck. Even though Goda didn't understand, he crouched when he heard Kirei's sharp voice, and a burst of air rushed above his head. Kirei had taken a big swing with a chair to mow 410 down. But 410, still with a mocking expression, easily caught the widely swung chair with a single hand.
おっかない女だに
What a scary woman.
旦那の後がそんなに追いたい
Really want to go the same way as your husband that much? From the cuff of her arm where she caught the chair, something like a shining golden snake appeared, wrapped itself around the chair, and burst open. It was a fearsome power like a vice. When Kyrie realized that being in front of her, which looked like a girl, was actually something that surpassed human knowledge, and that a human could not begin to oppose, her head was filled with a fierce alarm bell that welled up from deep inside her. Genji, Shannon, and Kanon, all the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle, continued to stand calmly at attention by the wall, even with a scene like this before their eyes, making them look very bizarre and eerie. For an instant, Kyrie thought they'd managed to stay calm because they were with the enemy, and had been given a guarantee that they wouldn't be killed. But as soon as she thought that, the sight of Genji's face was blown away before her eyes.
源氏さん
Genji. Rip Genji.
45着弾命中
45 impact. It's a hit.
ほほう源氏めこれは運が悪い
Ooh, how unfortunate.
安らかに眠れ我が友よ
Rest in peace, my friend.
そなたの死は無駄にはならぬぞ
Death will not be wasted.
我が愛しき魔女復活の重要なる13の鍵の一つとなるのだ
You
から
become one of the 13 keys essential to the resurrection of my beloved witch. The half of Genji's expression that remained was as indifferent as ever. He tilted, fell over, and sent a blood-red splatter across the floor.
源氏様
Genji's
僕たちなんて所詮は魔女の駒なんだ
We're nothing more than the witch's
所
pieces.
詮
Nothing more, nothing more, nothing more. From the meek and frustrated, resigned expressions on Canon and Shannon's faces, one couldn't sense any naive hopes they'd be rescued. That's right. Kinzo was in the truest sense carrying out these murders at random. In the truest sense, he was killing like it was a game to see who would be saved and who would be killed. Well, who will we go for next? Alright. 410 looked at Kyrie for a second. In that second, Kyrie was prepared for her own death, but when she readied her golden bow in midair, 410 was looking at someone over Kyrie's shoulder. So as imprudent as it was, Kyrie felt as though she had been saved. Again, an ugly exploding popping sound rang throughout the room. Who was it this time? When Kyrie turned to face the direction of the sound, she saw blood gushing like a fountain and Ava lying on her husband's chest. Of course, her face had been half smashed like her husband's. 410 had mercilessly targeted Ava as she clung to her husband's corpse, sobbing. Let go of Nissan! Let go of Nissan! Stop it, father. They did say to kill him, right? He did say if you kill me, it stops the ritual. He did promise that. Stop the brutality. Alright. Run, Rosa. Oh, Kraus isn't dead yet. Rosa's objection didn't reach Kinzo as he continued laughing loudly in the blood-splattered dining hall. And then she wasn't able to lessen Kraus's pain of being lifted up by the nape of the neck by a 00. So Rosa had no choice but to use force. She lifted a chair beside her and gave a warning. Father? Order her to let go of Nissan. Just stop them from doing this. I cannot. If that's what you desire, prevent it using your own power. He's like, fuck it, do it yourself. Cut a path through your own fate with your own hands. You who have always hid behind the backs of others in fear, let me see you overcome your weakness one last time in your life. Well, Rosa is trying something. Will she succeed? The chair that Rosa had lifted up swung down at the father who reigned as a symbol of terror for her entire life. It was the greatest and final act of bravery and self-control in Rosa's life. What Kinzo had said might have been true. If she grasped that courage much sooner, her life might have been more free, more unrestrained by anyone else. Then there was a bursting sound, the sound of Rosa's chair fiercely hitting Kinzo. Could not have been this. With the chair still lifted up, she nearly lost half her head and slumped over. Still holding Kraus up with one hand, 00 had struck her other hand out towards Rosa. The golden snake released from that arm. It constructed Rosa in a helix and smashed into her head. Defensive fire. I apologize for the discourtesy of shooting so close to you, sir. I care not. Oh, this makes 6. Yes, Lord Goldsmith. This makes 6. When she indifferently communicated that, 00 let go of Kraus, who she had been lifting this entire time. Indeed. The last sacrifices of the first Twilight were Eva, Rudolph, Rosa, Natsuki, Hideyoshi, and Genji. It was a massacre that happened in an instant. The interior of the dining hall had been dirtied by blood spatter, and the 6 unlucky victims lay with their heads brutally exposed, in a way that was fitting for that abnormal space. Kinzo's abnormal laugh alone echoed out. The curtain has finally risen. A ceremony to revive Beatrice has begun.
運よく第一の番を逃れた者たちに我が友人たちを紹介しようではないか。
You lucky ones who managed to escape the first twilight, allow me to introduce you to my friends.
いでよ、我が友よ。
Arise, my friend. Ronove. Oh, he can summon Ronove too. Interesting. When Kinzo called Ronove's name, the demon butler showed himself in midair, bowing respectfully.
皆様方、はじめまして。
Pleased to meet you, everyone.
そして、ご無沙汰の皆様におかれましてはごきげんよう。
And good day to those of you I haven't seen for a long time.
これはまた派手に散らかされましたようで。
Seems this place is once again spectacularly untidy.
いよいわ。
Pay it no
我
mind.
が白チュームのごとき日々を覚ますにはこの程度の刺激が必要だ。
Take the stimulant of this level to make me from my daydream-like days.
紹介しよう。我が友人であり頼れる執事であり72柱の大悪魔であるロノ
Allow me
ベ
to
だ。
introduce my friend, a reliable butler and one of the 72 great demons, Ronove.
以後お見知りおき。
Pleased to meet your acquaintance. Just who was he making that introduction to? Kraus and Kyrie, who are still down on their backsides, Nanjo, Goda, Kumasawa, could only look up at this middle-aged gentleman they didn't know in shock. Only Shannon and Cannon seemed to recognize him and they bowed deeply.
源氏には挨拶が叶いませんでしたか。
I was not able to greet Genji.
せめて苦痛なく役目を終えられたなら良いのですが。
I hope he was at least able to fulfill his purpose painlessly.
頭部直撃弾にて即死でした。
It's a death hit from a direct hit to the head.
普通を味わう暇もありません。
He didn't have time to feel the pain.
そうですか。
Is that so?
結構です。
Very well.
続けて友を紹介しよう。
Allow me to introduce another
い
friend.
でよ、我が友ワルギリア。
Allow me to introduce another friend. Arise, my friend Virgilia? Once again, a silhouette of someone the relatives didn't know appeared from the empty space. She appeared in a refined dress while making an elegant greeting.
召喚を感謝します、親方様。
Thank you for summoning me, Master. How many people is he gonna summon? Alright.
許されるならば、このような血生臭き場に呼び出されたくはありませんでした。
Although I would rather not have been summoned into a bloody place such as this.
こやつも紹介しよう。
Allow me to introduce her too.
我が友であり頼れる相談役でもあるワルギリアだ。
This is both my friend and a reliable counselor, Virgilia. Virgilia?
偉大なる有限の魔女であるお前の力を我が儀式に借りたい。
I desire to borrow your great power as wish of the finite.
その力を貸せ。
Lend it to me. Yeah, sure.
お断り
Easy.
しようにも、あなたの強力な召喚霊族下にある身では、それも叶いません。
Even if I were tried to refuse, such a thing wouldn't be permitted for one subordinated by the power of your summoning.
御意に、親方
As you wish,
様。
Master. Master of the finite. Yeah,
それにしても恐ろしいお方だ。
still what a fearsome
シ
fellow.
エスタの姉妹兵を3人も召喚し、私に加え、さらにワルギリア様までも召喚せしめると
I
は。
think you'd summon 3 of the Siester sister corps, then me, then even
召
Virgilia.
喚という能力においてのみとはいえ、お嬢様をもはるかに上回るとは。
Even though it's only in the area of summoning. To think he surpasses Milady so thoroughly, how frightening.
後ろ宮の地に戦慄を覚えます。
I can't help but shudder at the Ushiromiya blood.
ベアトリーチェ復活の儀式を執り行うために私は召喚師としての全てを尽くすだろう。
In order to carry out Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, I'll give it my all as a summoner. Well, at least he's trying.
まだ足りぬな。
This still
こ
isn't
の
enough.
旅の儀式の完璧なる遂行のためにさらに召喚しよう。
In order to perfectly succeed in the ceremony this time, I'll summon more.
ペンドラゴンの記念碑にロの上にワルギリア。
Pendragon Memorial Troops, Ronove and
ま
Virgilia.
だ呼べるぞ。我が魔力ならまだまだ呼べる。
I can still call more. With my magical power, I can still call many more.
我が召喚に応えよ。
Answer to my summons.
72柱が一人、 ガープよ。
One of the 72 demons, Gap. What rank is Gap?
ガープをあれまでも権限できるというのですか？
Her? You can materialize even her?
さらにこの島の侵食が進んだということでしょう。
It probably means the corrosion has advanced even more on this
私た
island.
ちが権限できているほどです。
I mean, it had already proceeded far enough to materialize
今
us.
更どんな大悪魔が呼び出せたとしても驚くには
By
値
now,
しますまい。
we honestly should be surprised no matter how great a demon he summons.
もはや六軒島は完全に異世界に飲み込まれているということですか？
Has Rockenjima already been completely isekai'd then?
彼が屈服しないと良い
I
の
hope he
です。
doesn't surrender.
前回たっぷり入れ知恵をなされたでしょう。
You learned a lot last time, correct?
この程度では今更屈服しますまい。
After all this time, he won't surrender over this
お
much.
そらく
Probably, I
です
should say.
さて、私たちはこの舞台を楽しもうではありませんか。
Shall we enjoy the stage we now stand
今
upon?
回の主人公はどうやら親方様のようだ。
Seems the main character's the master
お
this
嬢
time.
様とは一味違った脚本に期待しましょう。
Let's expect a script of a different flavor than Milady's. Blue, who's coming out? Gap. When Kinzo strongly concentrated his magical power, a pale light appeared in the empty air, twisted. We haven't seen this symbol before, that's unique. And a magic circle was drawn there with a deep red glow. And with a sound like glass breaking, a new demon could be seen there. Alright, we got a new demon. And a new outfit, too. Alright. We'll call her Side Boob Demon. Side Dress Demon. Look, there's like nothing here. The whole side of the dress is like cut out, and she's got a zipper there instead. Alright. Looks like that's only the case for the one side, though. I don't know if you guys can see, but like... the zipper... It looks like the zipper is only opened on one side. Like the cloth is there on the right side that's not facing us. As you can see, the zipper is present on her chest still, but there's nothing mirroring it. So, all right. A new demon. Can I see the new demon in system yet? The Seven Sisters, Shiesters. We're not quite there. Oh, actually, do we have their bodies yet? Hold up. No deaths yet. No one dead. Officially, Natsuhi is still alive. So, new demon.
よくぞ我が呼びかけに応えた。
Gap is the 33rd ranked demon. Alright, thank you guys. You did well to answer my call.
72柱の大悪魔が一つ。ガープよ。
Gop, one of the 72 great demons.
すごいところに呼び出されたものね。
The hell of a place you've
こ
summoned
の
me
血
to.
まみれの部屋を掃除するために私は呼び出されたのかしら？
Did you call me to clean up this bloodstained
ゴ
room?
ールドスミス？
Goldsmith? The literally devilish woman wrapped in a venomous, ominous costume looked at the scene which should have made her cover her eyes and twisted her mouth in a grin.
そのためだけにあなたを呼び出すとしたら
Summon you for such a
カ
reason.
シミヤのマフラーで雑巾掛けをするようなものです
It would be like using a cashmere muffler to mop the floor.
お久しぶりですね、ガープ。
Been a long time, Gap.
あなたのような大悪魔がとうとうこの島に現れてしまうなんて。
To think a great demon such as yourself has finally appeared on this island.
いよいよこの島も幻想に沈むのでしょうか。
Perhaps this island is finally submerging completely into fantasy.
部屋の惨状よりもこの豪華キャストの方が驚くべきね。
This all-star cast is even more surprising than the gruesome state of the room.
シエスタ姉妹が3人もいて、大悪魔ロの上に、大魔女ワルギリアに、
A full 3 Shiester sisters, the great demon Ronove, the great witch Virgilia, even me.
これは何事？
What's going on?
ここはパンデモニウム？
Is this pandemonium?
地獄の演奏会でも始めるつもりかしら？
You trying to start a concert from Hellish?
なるほど。そこで指揮棒が震えるのはあなたぐらいしか思いつかないわ。
I see. Well, as a conductor for that, I couldn't think of anyone better than you, Goldsmith.
そなたには ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる我が儀式遂行のための進行役として協力してもらう。
I'll have your assistance as facilitator in the completion of my ceremony to resurrect Beatrice.
我が召喚契約に依存はないな。
You have no objections to my summoning contract, correct?
依存も何も
course
天下の大魔女ベアトリーチェを刺激した伝説の大召喚師ゴールドスミス教の召喚霊族に私が抗えるわけもない。
Okay, there's no way I could resist the subordinating power of the legendary great summoner, Lord Goldsmith, who forced the famous witch Beatrice to do his bidding.
協力はするわよ。
I'll assist you.
もちろん見合ったお題もいただくけどね。
So I will ask, of course, a fitting price.
で、
So,
最初の仕事は
that's my first job.
第一の番を免れた間抜けどもを捕らえよ。
Capture the cowards who made it through the first twilight.
幸いにもここにはまだ7人いるではないか。
Fortunately, there are still 7 here, aren't there?
南條にシャノンにカノン、ゴーダに熊沢、キリエにクラウス。
Nanjo, Shannon, Cannon, Goda, Kumasawa, Kyrie, and Kraus.
ほう、この7人を丸々生贄に捧げればちょうど13人だ。
If these 7 are all offered as sacrifices, that's exactly 13
第
people.
二の番以降を実行するタイミングが訪れるまで生贄の檻に放り込んでおくがよかろうが。
Until it's time for the second and later twilights to be carried out, throw them into the cage of sacrifices.
カシミヤの雑巾がけね。
Kashmir mop,
了
huh?
解したわ。
Understood. As Gop shrugged her shoulders, she looked at Kraus, who was still down on his butt. She glared, and then when she snapped her fingers, Kraus was swallowed by the floor as though a round pitfall had opened up beneath him.
一丁上がり。
One down. There was no hole in the floor, but it certainly looked as though Kraus was swallowed by a hole and disappeared. Searching for an ex-prey, Gop's gaze crossed Kyrie's. She snapped her fingers. Kyrie jumped back as though repelled. Her instincts had been right. After all, in the place where she had been until a second ago, a round jet-black hole appeared, the same kind that swallowed up Kraus. However, before she could catch her balance, another pitfall appeared and swallowed her up. Even Kyrie had no way of eluding Gop's capture. Nanjo just falls. You hope bones and dust drop from this raid? Yeah, we got at least 2 demon god pillars. We might get a raid. When she snapped her fingers again, a shocked Nanjo was swallowed by the floor and disappeared. When she did it again, 410 let out a short yell and jumped back. This time a slightly larger pitfall opened up, swallowing both Shannon and Cannon, who had been standing in a line by the door. But because 410 jumped away from the door, the way was no longer blocked. Instinctively aware he'd be next, Goda dashed out through the door. Kumasawa also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. As Gop snapped her fingers over and over around, jet-black pitfalls opened one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive the recklessly fleeing pair away and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasawa had escaped in a matter of seconds.
鈍ったわ。
I've gotten slow.
2人逃がした。
I'll let 2 get away.
ご安心を。逃走目標を捕捉中であります。
Don't worry, we're currently locking onto the escapee targets.
データリンクよし。
Data link
に
ready?
狙撃しますか？
Shall we snipe?
いいえ、それは許可できませんよ。
I cannot authorize that.
貴重な生贄です。
They're precious
お役
sacrifices.
人様の許可を待つように。
Wait for the master's authorization.
大ゴールドスミス教
Hey, Lord Goldsmith,
指示を待ちます。
who ate your orders?
第二の番の訪れにはまだ早いと我が魔力の源泉が囁いておるわ。
Too soon for the coming of the second twilight is what the source of my magical power is whispering to me.
今はならぬ。
Alright, it must
好きに
not
さ
be
せ
now.
てやれ。
Let them do as they
ど
please.
うせこの島からは逃げられぬわ。
It's not as though they can escape from this island.
親方様の魔力の源泉とはすなわちノイズとリスクと運試し。
The source of Master's magical power is noise and risk and tests of luck.
つまりは気まぐれというわけですか？
In other words, it means being fickle, it would seem.
そうとも言うかもしれん。ガープ、ご苦労。儀式はこのまま着実に進めよう。
Let us steadily advance the ceremony from here on.
さて、それはそれとし、次は我が孫たちだ。
Next are my grandchildren.
次期当主たる資格があるかどうかを試す。
Alright, time to test them to see whether they're qualified to become my successor.
はてさて、どうやってその資質を確かめたものか。
Are you worried that the two people who are in a way are going to warn your grandkids? So they're uncooperative? That would be a concern of mine.
その資格があると判断され
If
た
you
な
decide
ら
they're qualified,
ベアトの復活を断念されるおつもりで
you intend to abandon Beato's resurrection?
無論だ。にもかかわらず試す。
And despite that, I'll test them.
女の身にはわからぬであろうな。この矛盾、我が狂気など。
Perhaps a woman cannot understand the contradiction nor my madness.
相変わらず男ってどこか変ね。
Apparently men are as weird as ever. I wish your dress was symmetrical, Gop.
リスクを遊ぶという概念わかりかねるわ。
I don't get the very concept of playing around with risk.
おやおや、あなたはそういうのが大好
I
きか
thought
と
you
思っ
loved
てお
that
りま
sort
し
of
たが。
thing.
もちろんよ。男に危険なリスクと一緒に恋をささやかれたらキュンキュンしちゃうわ。
Of course, if a man whispers to me about dangerous risks in love, I go head over heels.
ただしイケメンに限る。
But only if he's hot. Of course, of course.
お静かに死後は慎むように
Try to refrain from whispering.
実にかしましい奴らだ。
Truly noisy
だが
woman.
少なくとも退
At least
屈
they
は
aren't
せぬ。
boring.
これだから召喚は愉快
This is
なの
what
だ。
makes summoning so
そ
pleasant.
なたらには我が儀式のノイズとリスクの天秤の片側を担ってもらうぞ。
All of you will bear one side of the scales of noise and risk in my
その
ceremony.
働きに期待している。
This is the work I expect from you. 6 brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall, and it was contaminated with red, gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that until a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kinzo lined up the famous demons and their subordinates, loudly declaring the beginning of a night of overwhelming mass murders, and swore to himself he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land.
待たせたな。
Sorry to keep you waiting.
こ
Hello,
れにて
Beato.
第一の番、いよいよ開幕。
And now the curtain finally rises on the first twilight.
金蔵め、相変わらず派手を好む男よ。
That Kinzo, he really loves being flashy, doesn't he? Yeah, more flashy as usual
付
indeed.
きまとわれればしつこいことこの上なき男も、舞台の上ではこれほどまでに映えるというのか。
Even that man who can be more persistent than anything when he follows you around can shine so when on the stage.
くそ。
Damn.
相変わらず黒い殺し方ばかりしやがって。
Always killing in a grotesque way as usual.
頭部半壊だ。
Smashing half their
てめ
heads.
えら魔女ども悪魔どもの悪趣味には相変わらずうんざりさせられるぜ。
The bad taste you witches and demons always piss me off.
頭部半壊。なるほど。
Smashing half their heads, I see.
これまでのゲームで一番理想的な殺し方がこれだと気づいたわけね。
So she realized in the games up until now that's been the most ideal method of killing.
理想的？
Ideal?
このひでえ殺し方がどう理想的だってんだ。
Such a grotesque way of killing ideal.
実に理想的じゃない。
Oh, Gop's gonna be showing up now too. Okay.
一番最初のゲームを思い出してみるといい。
Try to remember the first game.
お前はさっき登場しやがった新しい悪魔とかいうやつ
New
か。
demon or whatever that just appeared? Yes, yes, she is. Let's see if we can get a description of some of the new friends we have made. Gop, one of the 72 great demons, Beatrice's friend. When a magician demands it, she grants the ability of instantaneous movement. She uses this extraordinary power for playing pranks mostly. Her specialty is hiding keys in bags during busy mornings. However, In the context of closed room mysteries, this power becomes an ultimate weapon that can easily strike a finishing blow. Her queen bee strikes are likely to pierce any and all detectives, forcing them to surrender. Okay, well, we don't have any more information on that page. Let's see, the bodies. They're still not dead? No way! I thought for sure they'd be dead by now. Alright, maybe it's when the bodies are discovered instead of when we see the murder scene. It's been a bit. Alright, so it's the new demon. Yes, you're right, Battler.
くそ。また魔女の侵食が進んで、ろくでもない奴が増えたというわけなのか。
Does this mean the witch's corrosion continued and there's even more creeps wandering around? Yes, true evil has magic teleportation powers, uses them to hide your house keys in your own house. Truly a being of pure malevolence. The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rakanjima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. The island's been closed off by the typhoon, and so no human can leave it, much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. By now, there might be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. I'm sure that's true. And the corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. And if the corrosion advances any further and even more weird people appear, what in the world will they be wearing? It's so scary you can't imagine. What do you mean scary? But seriously, give me a break. Shouldn't Battler be like, hell yes, more people in weird dresses that have like a completely open side? Don't make these weird guys increase in number anymore.
そうはいかんぞ。まだまだ増やすぞ。
I can't do it. They'll keep increasing more and more.
人間どもの語るクローズドサークルなる間抜けなルールをわらわがいくらでも怪我してやろうぞ。
I'll defile the foolish closed circle rule humans speak of over and over again.
よく来たな。我が優雅なるゲームへ。
My elegant game.
ガープよ。
Yeah.
お久しぶりね、リーチェ。
Been a while, Riche.
お元気だった
Well.
というか随分元気そうじゃない。
How do I ask? You look great.
若返った
You've gotten younger.
私が知ってる頃より2、300歳は若々しいわ。
You look 200 or 300 years younger than when I last saw you. It must have been all this interaction with Battler.
ああ、なるほど。
I see. The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced his Gop, took a glance at me and grinned as though she figured out something on her own. The smile openly felt obscene.
ベアとの友人らしいな。
I guess she's Beato's
ってことは、輪をかけてろくでもねえやつってわけだ。
Which means she's gotta be a creep among creeps.
しかし、クローズドサークルがなんとかって言ってやがったが。
By the way, they were saying something about a closed circle or whatever. What does that mean? I think it's the limited number of people on the island, right?
今の六軒島のような外界から断絶された場所で起こる連続殺人ミステリーはクローズドサークルとも呼ばれるわ。
Serial murder mystery novels that occur in places isolated from the world, are like Rakanjima is now, are sometimes called closed
外界
circles.
からの断絶、つまりは閉じられた輪の世界というわけ。
Since such a place is isolated from the outside, it's like a circle that's closed. You know exactly who's here, and you know all the actors. It's just a matter of finding out who the killer is.
故に登場人物と容疑者は限定されるのが一般
In
的。
general, the characters and suspects are limited in number.
にもかかわらず、新しい容疑者候補が次々に輪の外から追加されていくのはミステリーの作法に反する。
Having new suspect candidates added one after another from the outside the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery
つま
novels.
り人間とミステリーに対する魔女の冒涜ってつもりなんでしょうよ。
OG Gap has the power to teach philosophy, liberal arts, make others invisible, steal familiars from other magicians, make men stupid, make women infertile, carry men between kingdoms, in addition to ruling 66 legions of demons. So the witch is probably trying to desecrate humans and the mystery genre itself.
あなたがグレーテル？
And you're Gretel?
なるほど。賢い子みたいね。
You look like a wise kid.
そういう子は好きよ。
I love kids like
舌が甘くてとろけるから。
You taste so sweet and tantalizing.
気色悪い。冗談は服だけにしておいて。
Keep the jokes to your clothing.
デビリッシュプリティの最新作、ジャック・ザ・リッパークリスマスブラッド。
It's Devilish Pretty's newest Jack the Ripper
人
Christmas
間界
blood.
の田舎娘には理解できないセンスでごめんね。
Sorry for having a style that a country bumpkin from the human world couldn't understand, okay?
通気性がいいのだけは理解できたわ。
Well, at least we know it's well
ついで
ventilated.
に、頭にも切れ目を入れたら
Why don't you add a gap to the head part
脳
as
みそ
well?
の通気性も良くなるかもね。
Let a little air into your brain.
ガープは魔界の流行にいつも敏感でな。
Gap is always sensitive to the fashions of the spirit
し
world.
かし今年の流行りも実に大
This
胆
year's
だ。
fad truly is
わら
bold.
わも一度ぜひ取り寄せてみるとしよ
I
う。
think I'll order one sometime.
リーチェにはアリグレがおすすめね。アリス&ザ・グレーブヤード。
For you, Reach, I'd recommend Ali Gray Alice in the
今度
Graveyard.
一緒に666にお洋服見に行きましょうよ。
Go to 666 sometime to look at the clothes.
たまには魔界にもいらっしゃいな。
Really should drop by the spirit world every now and then.
このゲームを終えたらぜひそうしようぜ。
When this game's over, I'll be sure to do that.
それにしても、リーチェの対戦相手のお二人は
Still, your
なかなか可愛い
two
わ。
opponents are pretty cute, Reach.
この子なら頭部半壊死体にどういう意味があるか察しがつきそうね。
Looks like this kid's figured out the meaning of the corpses with their heads half smashed.
わかる？お嬢ちゃん。
Know what that is, girl?
さっきこいつは一番最初のゲームを思い出せと言ったな。
Just now she told me to remember the first game.
どういう意味だ？
What did that mean?
言葉通りの意味よ。
Just what it
一
sounds
番
like.
最初のゲームの第
Remember
一
the
の
first
番を
Twilight
思
of
い
the
出し
first
て、
game.
大人たちの死体が魔法陣の描かれた園芸倉庫の
The
中で
adults'
発見
corpses
され
were
た時の
found
こと
in
よ
the。gardening shed with the magic circle drawn
覚え
on
て
them.
る？
Remember? Yes, we remember all the way back to the first chapter. It wasn't that long ago. Episode 1, the first Twilight. Kraus, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda, all 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died.
あの時、あそこには2種類の死体
At
があっ
that
たわ
time,。there were 2 types of
それ
corpses.
は顔面を粉砕された死体と側面を粉砕された死体の
Some
2
had
種
their
類。
faces pulverized, some had half their faces pulverized.
そうだ。
Right.
顔面粉砕はルドルフ、キリエ、ローザ、ゴーダの4人。
The ones with their faces smashed were Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, and Goda.
側頭部粉砕はクラウス、シャノンの2人だ。
The ones with the sides of their heads smashed in were Kraus and Shannon.
わらわもあの時点では気まぐれに生み出した2種類の死体であった
I
が、
thickily created 2 types of
より
corpses.
残忍な死体である前者の方がわらわにとってむしろ不利であることに気
But I
づ
realized
い
the
たの
former, more atrocious type was actually disadvantageous to me.
ベアトにとって不利。
Yes, because he was questioning whether or not they were the real person, right? I think destroying the face meant it wasn't clear that they were the person.
そうか。
I see.
そういうことか。
But that's what this is. That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at that time, Uncle Kraus and Shannon Chan had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. And confirm that they were fucking dead. That's why they're there, right? It's there because she wants a death that he can't question whether or not they're dead, and he wants a death. She wants a death that it makes it clear who they are. It was easy to confirm their identities. Yeah, and the other 3 were different. Because their face had been completely destroyed, even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be dad because of his clothes and the like. Yep, and we used that as an argument, right? We were like, it could be one of these other people, we couldn't tell. In short, it remained vague until the end whether it had really been dad's corpse.
第一のゲームの時にも、もしも推理バトルが行われてたなら、
If this reasoning battle took place during the first game as well,
俺は多分、親父たちの死体を本人確認不能のため、
yeah, I would
偽
have
装死体
claimed
の可能
since the
性もある
identities
と
of
主
dad
張
and
し
the
ていた
rest's
かもしれ
bodies
ない。
were impossible to confirm. There was a possibility one was a fake corpse.
何しろ、あのゲームの時には、ベアトは一切
After all, Beato
赤で
didn't
の発
state
言もしてい
anything
ない
in。red during that game.
お上手よ。それで正解。
Pretty
偽
straightforward.
装死はミステリーの基本の一つ。
Fake deaths are one of the basics of the mystery genre. Although there is one problem. Currently there are a bunch of missing people. And missing people means people who could have been the murderer.
たとえ医者に検証させたとしても、犯人とグルを疑われれば、その結果は信用できない。
Even if you make a doctor examine the corpse, you can't trust the results if you suspect him of being the culprit's accomplice. But on the other hand, Kinzo's portrayed as being obviously the murderer, so maybe it's just Kinzo.
つまり、確実な死を保証できない死体は、常に魔女サイドを不利にするということ。
And therefore, corpses that can't guarantee a death for certain are always disadvantageous for the witch's side. Yep. It needs to be obviously a death, and it needs to be obviously identifiable as the real person.
あらゆる死体について偽装死を疑い、その後の事件の犯人に想定することができる。
Yep. You can suspect fake deaths for all corpses, hypothesizing that one or more of them is the culprit in the crimes that follow.
バトラの嫌う手だけど、魔女に対する最も初歩的な一
It's a
手。
move Battler doesn't quite like, but it's the most elementary move to use against a witch.
ああ、そうだ。
Yep.
だからベアトは赤を使い出した。
That's why Beato started using the
赤き
red.
真実で完璧な検証を行うようになったんだ。
With red truth, she can carry out a perfect autopsy.
そういうことだ。
And that's how it is.
本来ならば、この第一の番の惨劇に対し、
Normally for the first
わら
Twilight.
わはすぐにでも赤き真実にて、この度の6人の死亡を確定させるところである。
I would use the red truth right away, confirming the deaths of these 6, yeah?
しかし知っての通り、今回のわらわの戦法は、これまでとは正反対に、赤き真実の兵糧攻めといったところ。
My battle strategy this time is the complete opposite of the previous games, and I'll use the red truth starvation tactics. Which means until the bodies are discovered, we don't know if they're actually dead, right? He hasn't declared they're dead now.
そなたが反撃の拠り所にしようとする以上、わらわは容易には赤を使わぬ。
Since you use it as ground from which to counterattack, I'll not use the red
必
easy.
要最低限の赤にて、たった一箇所だけほころびさせればいい。
I'll make you come apart at the seams by using red in just a single place as rarely as possible.
つまり、わらわは究極的に言えば、そなたのあらゆる密室の推理について、あらゆる暴言を許せども。
It means I'll permit all rants regarding your guesswork for all the closed rooms.
そのうちの一つを、たった一回の赤き真実にて打ち
And I
破
only have
る
to
だけ
smash
で
one of
良
those
い
with
わ
the
け
red
だ。
truth.
散々俺をいたぶってきやがったくせに、俺が反撃に使い出したら今度は引っ込めやがったってわけだ。
Okay. Even though you're always tease me, once I start counterattacking you now, hold up in your shell.
ふざけやがってよ。
Quit fucking around.
とにかく赤を使いたくない。けちりたい。
Oh, at any rate, I don't want to use the red. I want to be stingy.
バトラをいじめてやり
I
た
want
い。
to bully Battler. Battler probably deserves being bullied here and there.
しかし、赤を使わずに確実なる死を保証するにはどうすれば
But
よい
how could I guarantee a death for certain without using red?
わらわは悩みに
I
悩
worried
んだ
and
わ
worried
け
over
だ
it.
そのアイデアをガープがくれた。
And then Gop gave me an idea.
実に簡単な方法だった
A
のだ。
truly simple method.
当たり前なことを言ったらリーチがひらめいただけよ。
I pointed at something obvious and you hit on the idea, Riche.
私は誰にでも容易に身元の判別と完全なる死が理解できる死体を用意すればいい
I
と言っ
simply
ただ
said,
け。
you only had to create corpses whose identity could be distinguished and whose complete death would be understood.
つまりはその2つを合体させたわけよ。身元の判別に必要な顔と完全なる死の象徴である魂の器たる頭部の粉
And the
砕。
pulverization of the head, the vessel of the soul, perfect as a symbol for death.
この2つを左右ぴったりきれいに合体させたらあら不
When I
思
put the
議。
parts together, wonderful.
この頭部半壊死体がパーフェクトであるという答
I
え
came
が
up with the perfect
出
answer
た
of
わ
corpses
け
with
だ。
their heads half smashed. Now, as I recall, I believe the cause of death in several of the cases in the first Twilight of the first chapter were not actually caused by the head destruction, and that was done afterwards to mutilate the bodies, as identified by Nanjo. I wonder if Battler will remember that, as that might be useful to know from last time. Cause of death was not the head destruction, that was corpse mutilation.
お前絶対2食パンとか2食アイスが好きだろ。
I'll bet you love two-colored bread and two-colored ice
欲
cream.
張りな子供市民丸出しだ
Like
ぜ
a greedy kid.
いずれにせよ
At any
たとえ
rate.
頭部が反壊していたとしても現時点では彼らが死んだとみなすべきではないわ。
Even if their heads are smashed, we shouldn't assume they're dead at this point in time.
分かってる。ベアトがもったいぶって赤での宣言を拒む以上全ては疑ってか
Since
かるべき
Beato's acting tough and refusing to say anything in red, we gotta suspect everything.
もちろんシエスタの太もも姉ちゃんたちの魔法殺人だって
Of course.
鵜呑みになんか絶
I'm
対
definitely
し
not
ねえ
gonna
ぜ
swallow the theory of magical mass murder by the Siesta ass Nachans. They're ass Nachans now?
本当に慎重になったこと。最初のゲームの頃だったなら何でもかんでも鵜呑みにしてくれていたのね。
公的種はこうでなくては面白くないというもの。今は赤がないことを幸いに自由な想像を広げ好きに推理を重ねるがいい。
Since there is fortunately no red now, he can imagine whatever he wants and reason over and over again as he likes.
一番最後に一番美味しいところでバッサリと赤き真実にて叩き切ってくれよう
At the very end, at the very sweetest spot, I cut him down at once with the red truth. Okay, Beato, let's go. Are we flashing back again to more Maria in the book time? Let's see, or are we going back to the kid's perspective? Maybe Kumasawa's perspective? Shirome Rosa. Silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit. I'm just gonna stop right here. Rosa was quote unquote killed. Right? She's one of the people who died, supposedly killed by 00. So they're even demonstrating that we shouldn't take it as fact yet by having a perspective shot from Rosa. And the first thing she thought was it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she had been sleeping on an ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second and end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Is she gonna, like, get back up as a fucking zombie and move or some shit? Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on a hard, cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make that mark disappear, but I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light, but even if I looked up at the ceiling or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness and I couldn't see a proper light. This is the second chapter we've had first-person perspective from Rosa in the afterlife or whatever. Interesting choice why they always pick Rosa. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps, so wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, and she stared in the direction the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint approaching silhouette came into view. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. It's Saktaro. Who is it? I don't know this kid, but the expression on his face is like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart. The instant the kid muttered the infantile word, she felt pain in the half of her face that started hurting from the cold floor as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face.
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
まだ痛い？
Does it still hurt?
ありがとう、僕。
Thanks. I'm fine, little
こ
guy.
こはどこ？
Where are we?
すごく寒いわ。
It's really cold.
こっちへ来て。
Come this way.
ここにいちゃいけない。
You mustn't stay here. The child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. This was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forward. Although she was running, she couldn't feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, the kind of unreal sensation. Even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance. My legs got tangled. I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself. Oof.
ウリュ
Are you
大
okay?
丈夫？
Sorry.
ごめんなさいね。頭が痛むの。
When the kid said that infantile word, Uryu, pain like being struck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand the child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said so frankly.
ごめんなさい。その、うりゅうという口癖をやめてもらえる？
Stop saying Uryu.
ウリュ
He immediately says yes.
ちょっと、やめてって言ってるでしょ。
Wait a second, didn't I tell you to stop?
ごめんなさい。
Sorry. Now he's saying ooh ooh. I had a feeling this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? Well, I know there's no malice in him. But when I'm around this child, my head hurts? Is that
大丈
guilt?
夫？
Are you okay?
早く行こう。
Let's go quickly.
ここは行っちゃダメ。
Mustn't stay
ど
here.
うしてここにいちゃダメなの？
Shouldn't I be
ねえ、ここはどこ？
Where's this?
あなたは誰？
Who are you?
あなたのママはどこ？
Where's your mama?
僕を作ってくれたのは
The one who made me?
ママだよ。
Is you, mama? Child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all.
僕のこと
Did you forget about
忘
me?
れママが僕を作ったんだよ。
You made me, right?
ちょっと冗談はやめて。
Wait a sec, stop kidding around.
私の子供はマリアだけよ。
Maria's my only child.
そう。マリアはどこ？
That's right. Where's Maria?
マリアはどこなの？マリ
Maria? I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where's Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria's there for me.
マリアはいるけど、今はマリアじゃない。
Maria's here, but she's not Maria now.
今は会わない方がいいの。
It's better if you don't meet with her now.
その方がママ
It's
のた
better
め
your
だし、
sake.
マリア
And
のため
Maria's
な
as
の。
well.
マリアのためにも。逃げて。
For Maria's sake as well. Escape.
何を言ってるの？
What do you say?
マリアはどこ？
Where's Maria?
マ
Maria?
リア！返事をして！
Answer me.
マリアに見つかっちゃう。
Maria's gonna find you.
早くこっちに
This
来
way,
て、
quickly.
ママ。
The child pulled at my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped walking.
話してよ。
Let go? No, this'll go well.
だいたいあなたは誰よ？あなたにママなんて言われる覚えはないわよ。
What gives you the right to call me Mama?
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。
Mama's the one who made me.
忘れちゃったの？
Did you forget?
マリアのバースデープレゼントにするために
For Maria's birthday present?
僕を手作りしてくれたの。忘れちゃったの？
You made me with your own hands? Did you forget? Couldn't be.
あなた、
You.
マリアの作太郎。
Maria's Saktaro?
うん。ママに作ってもらったライオンのぬいぐるみだよ。
The lion stuffed animal Mama made? A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there and a deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big I could see through it to the other side.
ウリュウ大丈夫？
Are you okay?
大丈夫？
Are you okay?
どうしたの？
What's wrong? Saktaro noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand sustained a serious injury. In my eyes, it felt like he'd been injured because he'd grabbed my hand. Regardless of whether there was malice in him, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie. Go away. You have nothing to do with me. Saktaro was just a disgusting, creepy stuffed animal, right? Well, if that's the way you want to take it, Rosa Ara? I don't know you. I'm not your mama. Disappear.
Oh. Yeah.
Slowly, the base of Saktaro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open and pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it, only an empty blackness peeked out. And then from the insides of the gash, cotton snow poured out, and as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over, and all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth. Bits of cotton that looked like sticky crushed cotton candy. A lion stuffed animal, without a doubt. These were the remains of the Saktaro stuffed animal I tore apart on that day, while overcome by my emotions. And the instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Man, every time we get towards the end of something, we're getting some really sad scenes, but here we go again. Like a flood from a broken dam or a broken TV, Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by emotions and went overboard. It was a mother's desire to kneel down right away and hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying, but Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who tore her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. I'd been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth, cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly, and then it burst. After all, she refused to make up with me even though I apologized, and there's nothing else I could do now anyway. It was all Maria's fault in the first place. Since she's too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this, she can't make friends, and that's why people treat her like a freak. This is the perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. Everything eventually breaks, is stolen, or is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers, sisters, father, and mother. But when I cried about it, well, I might have shed a few tears. Not once did I sob and trouble my parents, throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor, kick, and make a racket. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did so I always held back. It's because I held back that I was able to become a wonderful adult that I am now. At that moment, I felt something strange. The strange feeling is when you use a tool recklessly and it finally breaks, so only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool, I'd just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So I looked at my hands. From my wrist onwards, my hands had broken off, splintered, and disappeared. As though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. As though all of me from the wrists onwards had suddenly become ceramic, broken and fallen. They must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look, aren't both my wrists lying smashed by my feet? There was no pain, but the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream. What's this? What's this? My hands. Alright, alright.
これでもうマリアを叩けないね。
And this way you won't be able to hit me anymore. Wait, not the witch costume? Just regular Mario with the bunny jacket? Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head where they'd been defending against my barrage. What's happening? My hands. What is this, Maria? What's this? What earth is this? Behind Mari's back, a black silhouette appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult who... Beatrice? There we go. If only she'd used those hands for patting her daughter's head, flipping through picture books, or making warm meals. It might have been worth leaving them on.
ママはマリアの頭を撫でるより叩く方が多いよ。
Mama hit my head more than she patted
絵
it.
本なんかめくってくれない。
She never opens
ご
picture
飯だっ
books.
て作ってくれない。
And she doesn't even make me
マ
food.
リアが自分で買いに行く
I'll
の。
buy it myself.
でも同じお店に何度も行っちゃいけないし
But I can't go to the same store more than once.
顔を覚えられてもいけない。おまわりさんに
I
話
can't
し
have
か
my
けて
face
もいけな
remembered. I can't talk to policemen.
い。なんで？
Why?
どうして？
Why is that?
マリアが悪いの？
Is it my fault?
マリアはママに撫でてもらったり、絵本を読んでもらったり。
Isn't she 9? Wait a minute. Surely you can read by yourself at that point. Am I not allowed to have Mama pat my head, have picture books read to me?
一緒にご飯を食べたりしちゃいけない
Dinner
の。
with Mom?
どうして？
Why not?
どうして？
Why not?
マリア悪くないよ。
I didn't do anything.
マリア悪くない。ママが悪い。
Not my fault, it's
マ
Mama's.
マが悪い。
Mama's fault.
ママは一緒に遊んでくれないけど、サク太郎は一緒に遊んでくれた。
I don't think Waru is actually fault. I'm pretty sure it's bad, but anyway. Mama wouldn't play with me, but Sakutaro did.
本も読んでくれた。テレビも見てくれた。
He read
一緒にご飯も食べてくれた。
Watched TV and ate meals
マ
with
マより
me.
もっともっと大切な友達だったのに。
Yeah, he is a much better friend than Mama ever was, and he's dead.
悪かったと
I'm
思っ
not
てる
proud
わ。
of it.
でも仕方ないでしょ。
What are you supposed to
ママは
do?
仕事で忙しいのよ。仕事で。
I'm busy with work. Work,
マ
I
マの
tell
仕
you.
事が忙しい
You
の
know
は
that,
知ってる
right?
でしょ。仕方ないのよ。
It was unavoidable.
仕方ない。
There's nothing I can do.
そうだ。
True enough.
これは仕方なきこ
It was unavoidable.
と。そなたの娘が傷つき、心を引き裂かれ、涙に血を浮かべることさえ、これは仕方なきこ
It was unavoidable that you'd injure your daughter, tearing her heart apart and making her tears
と。
run with
なれ
blood.
ば今この場にてこのようなることになるもまた、すべては仕方なきこと。
In that case, there's no avoiding the same thing happening again. Right here, right now.
さあ、マリ
Come,
ア。
Mari.
母を名乗った女の言い分は以上だぞ。
Enough excuses from the woman who called herself a
許
mother.
せるか。いいな、
Can you forgive her or not?
無罪か。はたまた有罪
Is she
か。
innocent or guilty?
許せない。ママは有罪だ。
Mama's
サク
guilty.
太郎にママがしたのと同じ目に合わせてやる。
I'll make Mama meet the same fate she gave
ママ
Sakutaro.
を首の縫い目のところから
Take Mama from the seam at her
引き
neck
裂いて中の綿をぶちまけてやる。
and tear her apart so we can see the cotton inside her. Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue, and in that instant, invisible massive arms struck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body made sounds like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa understood vaguely the massive arms were probably her own arms from the time she tore Sakutaro apart. Well, I'm not hearing any screams, so is she not feeling this? Like it's just a dream? From a stuffed animal's perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. You could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails dug in deep to the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. But then as the two witches watched over her, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. It's like she's not feeling it. It's like this is actually a dream, whereas like the previous time she seemed to be experiencing it and thought she was. This time, it's kind of like she's just like in a daze, dreaming about this. Right, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakutaro had been torn apart, bits of cotton were flown about like snowflakes. But in Rose's case, something like black, thick tar come out filthily, flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red of the blood. It was something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside their body. And she didn't even comment on her own death. It's incredible, hideous. Wait, why is her face like that? Filthy inside. Splendidly done, Maria. Well, is this enough for your revenge? It seems like she didn't feel anything. Can you forgive your mother or not? Innocent or guilty? I can't forgive her. Alright. I still can't forgive her, she's guilty. When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant. Rosa doesn't seem to have felt that, so it's kind of just like an awkward view of herself dying. Or at least she's had no reaction. She's coughing from being recently deceased? That seems like the most inconvenient. Feel the depths of your sin which cannot be repaid by a single human life. And remember your own great sin. Come, try and remember. Remember the scale of your sin.
もしもし、ママなの？ママは何時に帰ってくるの？
When will we get back?
ごめんなさいね。
Sorry.
今日も仕事が忙しくて泊まりになってしまう。
I'm busy with work today. I'm staying over.
またお仕事でお泊まり？
Staying over for work again?
ママのお仕事、今日も大変だね。
Seems like work is tough for you again, Mama.
ごめんね。
Sorry.
本当に忙しいの。
I'm really sorry.
もうずっと会社に缶詰よ。
I'll be holed up at the company the whole
外の
time.
空気も吸えやしないわ。
Can't even get a breath of fresh
ママ
air.
の仕事は早く終わらすだけじゃダメなの。
Mama just can't finish her job quickly
よ
this
り良い
time.
デザインを上げないと次から仕事をもらえない大変な仕事なのよ。
Unless I give them a better design, I won't be given another job. That's how tough this work is.
だからどうしても時間がかかっちゃう。
You'll just have to take some time.
わかってるよ。
Right, I understand.
マリア、いい子でお留守番してるから、お仕事いっぱい頑張って、
She'll be a
早く
good
終わ
girl.
らせて、お
Watch over the
家に帰ってきてね。
Holy hell, that was a longer sentence than I thought it would be. Do your best at work, finish it quickly, and come home,
マ
okay?
マのお仕事を分かってくれて。
I should just be looking for the nouns I'm expecting to find in the sentences instead of getting impatient and reading text. Anyway, thanks for understanding about Mama's work.
明日美味しいケーキを買って帰ることを約束するわ。
I promise I'll buy a delicious cake tomorrow and take it home.
ケーキいらないよ。
I don't need a
ケー
cake.
キ屋さんによって遅くなるより、その分ちょっとでも早くママが帰ってくる方が嬉しい。
Instead of taking time to go with the cake, so I'll be happier if you came home that much sooner.
大丈夫よ。
But don't worry.
早く帰ってくるわ。約束する。
I'll come back quickly, I
だか
promise.
ら美味しいケーキを2人で食べて、
Let's have some delicious cake
美味しい
together.
紅茶を2人で飲んで、
We'll drink delicious
一
tea
緒に
together.
新しい絵本を読みま
Let's
しょ
read a
う。
new picture book together.
この間買った狼と羊のパズルで
We'll
遊
play
び
with
ましょう
the
ね。
wolves and sheep puzzle I bought the other day.
2人で約束
Both
よ。
of us together. I promise.
約束。
Yeah, promise. Promise.
待ってる
Sure.
ね。お仕
You'll
事
be
頑
waiting.
張ってね、ママ。
Do your best, Mama. Alright.
ほうほう、寂しい話ではあるが、互いを思い合う良き親子愛ではないか。
It's a lonely story, but isn't this mother-daughter love wonderful with both looking out for the
何
other?
か問題があるというのか、マリ。
Do you see any
そ
problem
し
with
て
it, Mario?
ローザよ。
Rosa?
その約束は
I kept that promise,
私
didn't
は
I?
ちゃんと守ったはずよ。次の日の夕方に約束通りケーキを買っていつもより早い帰宅をしたはずよ。
Next evening, didn't I do as promised? Buying a cake, returning earlier than usual?
マリアは知ってたよ。
I knew.
あの日の夕方ね、
That evening.
ママ宛てに着払いの荷物が来たけど、お財布の中のお金が足りなかったから、
That evening, a pay-on-delivery package came for Mama, but there wasn't enough money in the
ママ
wallet.
にどうしようって相談したくて会社に電話したの。
So I called Mama's company to ask what to
特
do.
別な時以外はかけちゃダメって言われ
I
て
was
たけ
told to
ど、
only call at special
ママ
times.
のお仕事の大切なものだったら悪いしと思って、
But I thought it'd be bad if the package was something important for Mama's work.
電話したの。
So I called.
そしたらママはお休みだって言われた。
And I was told Mama had the day off.
その日はずっと前からお休みに決まってて、遠くへ遊びに行っているって言われたの。
And I was told it'd been decided long ago Mama would have the day off and she'd gone far away to play.
マリアは知ってたよ。
I knew.
ママが嘘をついてるって。
I
ず
knew
っ
the
と
whole
ずっ
time.
と知ってた。
The whole time that Mama was lying.
でもね、サクタロがそうじゃないってマリアを叱ってくれたの。
You know what? Saktaro scolded me, saying it wasn't
ママ
true.
は毎日お仕事でとても大変。
Every day, Mama was very busy
マ
with
リア
work.
を放っておいて遊んでるはずなんてない。
There's no way she'd abandon Maria and
マ
play.
マはお休みって言った人はきっと何か勘違いして言ってしまったんだよって。
He said the person who told us Mama had the day off must have made some kind of
サ
mistake.
クタロがそう言うんだもん。
That's what Saktaro
マリア
said.
は信じたよ。
So I
マ
believed
リア
it.
は信じた。
I
マ
believed
マ
it.
大好き。ママ大好き。
I love
も
Mama.
ちろ
Love
ん
her.
ママだってマリアを愛してる。愛してるって。
Of course, Mama says she loves me. She loves me, right?
ええ、
Yes.
私もよ。
Me too.
愛してるわ、マリア。
Love you, Maria. Rosa let out a deep sigh because she felt the weight of her words. Then she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out even more beautifully. On the table in front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below.
娘さんに旅行って話してないんですか？
Didn't tell your daughter you were on vacation?
行くって言って前にうるさかったんで、以来言わないことにしてるんです。
Told her once, but she was so noisy I decided not to tell her
その
anymore.
方が面倒がなくていいんで。
Less work that way.
娘さんが気になるなら無理に日程を組まなくてもよかったじゃありませんか。
Well, if you were worried about your daughter, you didn't have to put this in your schedule, right?
でもそれじゃいつまで経っても予定が合わないし。
Then we'd never get our schedules to match.
それは気にしないでって言ったで
I
しょ。
say not to worry about that? The slender, middle-aged man clad in a white robe gave a small sigh, and Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action. Oh, come on.
娘の話はなしにして。
Let's not talk about my
せっ
daughter.
かくの上等なワインが台無しよ。
It'd be a waste of this precious wine. Is this just their generic hotel room scene? Because this is the exact same hotel room design that Anjay had, and there's like 2 beds here, which is kind of weird.
私はあなたに一人の人間としても
I find
女
you
性として
fascinating.
も魅力を感じてい
As
ま
both
す。
a woman and a human being.
ですが、だからこそ
For that very
こうして
reason.
時間を割くのは申し訳ないと感じています。
I feel bad about taking so much of your time that it strains your relationship with your daughter.
私と娘の事情は気にしないでくださいって。い
Should
つ
I
も
always
言って
tell
る
you
じゃ
not
な
to
いで
worry
すか。
about my relationship with her?
あなたと二人きりの時に娘の話はしないようにしているでしょ。
I try not to talk about her when I'm alone with you, okay?
電話だって下のロビーでうるさい酔っ払いがバカ笑いしてなければここではかけなかった。
I wouldn't have even phoned from here if it weren't for the noisy drunk laughing stupidly in the lobby
ローザ
downstairs.
さん、
Rosa.
こういう唐突な日程での旅行は娘さんのためにも今後は少し考えませんか？
Can't you reconsider taking sudden vacations like this in the future for your daughter's
互
sake?
いの日程があった時だけでいいじゃありませんか。
Isn't it enough if we only meet when our schedules match?
それじゃ全然日程が合わないじゃないですか。
Our schedules will never match up that way, right?
私はいつだって一緒にいたいのに。
I always want to be with you.
それは子供の恋愛の仕方です。
That's a child's way
大
of
人
loving.
同士の恋愛はもう少しストイックであるべきですよ。
Loving between adults should be a little more stoic. She's getting beaten down by her boyfriend.
ローザさ
Damn.
んと一緒にいられる時間が長く取れないことは僕も寂しいです。
Not being able to be with you for long periods of time makes me lonely too, however.
その限られた時間と機会で僕たちは十分に大人の恋愛を
I think we
楽し
can
めていると
enjoy
思います
more than
よ。
enough adult loving during that limited
そ
time.
れはもっと娘と一緒にいろと。
You're telling me to be with my daughter more?
女でなく母でいろということですか。
Be a mother, not a woman?
あなただって望んでいることでしょう。
That's what you want too, right?
娘さんと一緒にゆっくり過ごしたいとあなただって思ってい
You
る
must
はずだ。
also want to spend lots of time with your daughter,
僕
right?
は逃げません。
I won't run away.
僕との時間を優先するために娘さんを犠牲にするのは気の毒だと申し上げたい
I'm
ので
saying
す。
I think it's sad for you to sacrifice your daughter so you can prioritize time with me. Imagine your boyfriend telling you this. Like, he's like, dude, like seriously, you should spend time with your daughter or children instead of like me. This is really weird. It's like Rosa, you're being super cringe. What are you doing?
奥さんとのより戻したんですか？
Back on good terms with your wife?
別れるのが嫌になったんですね。
Like you've had about enough of being separated.
妻の話はしたくない。
I don't want to talk about
あなた
my
が
wife.
娘さんの話をしたくないのと同じで
Just
す。
like you don't want to talk about your daughter.
子連れの女は面倒だって思ったんでしょう。
Now she's being super insecure, just what people like. I'm sure you think single women with children are pain.
そんなこと、今までに一度も言ったことはありませんよ。
I never said anything of the sort before.
子連れだと分かると手のひらを返す。
Whenever someone finds out I have a child, they desert me.
あの子の養育費は気にしなくていいからと言っても、みんな手のひらを返す。
Even if I tell them not to worry about paying the child's living expenses, they'll desert
あ
me.
なたは娘のことを理解してくれてると思ったのに。
I thought you understood about my daughter. Dude, he's telling you you're being like a shitty parent. He's like, you're being a shitty parent. You should probably be a little bit better. Like, I'm noticing it. What are you doing?
やっぱり子連れだと嫌なんですね。
This is some serious deflection. Holy crap. I guess you don't like single women with children after all.
そうは言っていません。
That's not what
ロ
I'm
ーザさん
saying.
のことを嫌いになってなどいませんよ。
I haven't started to dislike you, Rosa.
私が言いたいのは、娘さんをもっと大事にしなさい。
Just trying to tell you to take better care of your daughter. Something I know you
あ
wish
な
for
た自
yourself.
身もそれを望んでいるはずだ。
I
だ
don't
から
want
娘さんに嘘
I don't
を
want
つ
you
い
to
て
hurt yourself.
自らを傷つけてほしくない。
I don't want you to hurt yourself by lying to her.
そう言ってるだけなんです。
嘘つき。
Liar. Alright.
私のことが面倒になっただけ。そうでしょ。
I've just become a burden for you, right?
そんなことは言ってい
That's
ない。
not what I'm saying.
いいえ、わかるの。私にはわかるわ。
No, I know. I
あ
understand.
の子を理由に何度も捨てられた私だからわかるの。
After being abandoned so many times because of that child, I
雰
know.
囲気でわかるわ。そうよ。あなたもそう。他の男たちと一緒。
I know. I can tell by your mood. You're like already like those already the
子
other
連れの
men.
女は嫌なのよ。バツイチは嫌なのよ。面
You
倒
don't
なの
want a
よ
woman。with a child. You don't want a divorcee because that's a pain.
知らない男と作った子供の親になんかなりたくないんでしょ。
You don't want to become the parent of a child with another man.
え
Right?
え、そうよね。その気持ちすっごいわか
I
るわ。
totally get it.
子連れの男と付き合ったことがあるけど、その気持ちすっごいわかったの。
I once went out with a man with children. I really get how you feel.
だから娘を理解してくれるあなたとなら一緒になれるって信じたのに。
I believe I'd be able to be with you, a person who understood about my daughter. Well, that's awkward, Rosa.
そうよ。
Oh, that's right.
あんたなんて邪魔
You're
だった
always in the
のよ。
way.
あんたさえいなければ私はとっくに女としての幸せをつかめたのよ。
If only you didn't exist, I would have been able to grasp my happiness as a woman long
あ
ago.
んたの存在が私の幸せをいつも邪魔するのよ。
Because you exist, you're always in the way of my happiness.
私だってあんたなんか産みたくなかっ
Even
たわ
I
よ。
didn't want you to be born.
いいえ違うわ。
That's not it.
あんたと一緒に幸せな家庭を築けたらと思ったわよ。
I thought I might be able to build a happy family together with you.
あんたが生まれる直前にあいつは蒸発したわ。
But that man disappeared right before your birth.
私と温かい家庭を築くと言って私を騙し永遠に私の前から消え去ったわ。
He said he'd build a warm family with me, tricked me, and disappeared from my sight for all eternity.
残った
Leaving
のはあ
only
ん
you.
ただけ。
Gordon Ramsay in Fortic. It's very nice, dude.
愛も思い出も何もない。
Congratulations on your new burp. Only you were left. No love, no memories, nothing remained.
あの男は今どこへ。
Where did that man go?
私との日々を温かな思い出に勝手に変えて新しい恋人に出会ったかもしれない。
He probably just turned my days with him into a warm memory. I met with a new love.
そして今度
And
こ
this
そ
time,
幸せな家庭を
you might have
築
been able
け
to
たかも
create a
し
happy
れない。
family.
そして私は
And me?
あんたがいる。
I got
恋
you.
も探せない。
I can't look for a new
男は
love.
好きに女を渡り歩いて武勇伝気取り。
She says men can go between women as they like and brag
な
about
の
it.
に女には
For a woman, for me,
あんたがいる。
I have you.
あんたという重しがいるのよ。
I have you as
あ
the
んた
stone
のせい
weight.
で私は恋を探せない。愛が得られない。一人で生きていくしかない。
I use the stone weight because of you. I can't search for romance. I can't find love, and I can only live alone.
いいえ、それさえも許されてないわ。私には一人で酔いつぶれたい夜さえ許されていない。
wasn't even allowed that. I wasn't even allowed tonight to drink myself drunk all alone. Well.
あんたは誰?
Who are you?
何者? 私の人生を台無しにして、私の新しい人生さえ許してくれないあんたは、
You probably...
私の人生の何者なのよ.
I don't want to be super rude, Rosa, but you probably should have thought about this before you had a kid. Just saying. It's like on both of you, not on Maria. It's on you and your partner. You guys to my life and won't even let me have a new life. Just who are you to my life? Also, have you ever heard of adoption, Rosa? Have you ever heard of adoption? Assuming that it was like he disappeared like the day before she was born. Adoption. Because I'm not saying it's a great option, I'm just saying it is an option. I disappear. I hated you since the time you were born. Well, I don't know about that. I hated you since the time you were in my womb. Well, now you don't even have an excuse. Sorry. Doing my best to act like a good mother so I'd be accepted by the outside world. Yep. I did my best.
私は頑張った。同世代の女性たちが独身を謳歌し、時に恋に遊び、あるいは愛に結ばれるのを横目に見ながら。
As I watch other women in my generation praise being single, sometimes playing with passion, even being joined with someone in love. Weren't you presumably in love with someone at some point? That's why you had this kid in the first place, Rosa? Just pointing that out. You've clearly had those experiences. I was stuck being both a mother and a woman. Whoever showed appreciation for my effort. The kid you chose to have. No one admired me, no one praised me. I got what I deserved? Probably. Secondhand good? Divorcees should die. You don't want anyone who's not a virgin. I don't want it. I'm the one who doesn't want anything to do with you, you damn inexperienced virgin brat. Oh.
さぞかし簡単に落ちる女に見えたろうさ。必死だったわよ。
I probably look like an easy woman to you. Yes, I was desperate. All right.
まだまだ恋をしたい年頃の私が。
She's so pathetic. You want to pick her up and shake her, give her a full-time nanny and a therapist. Yeah. Probably couldn't imagine how desperate a woman like me, who's still at the age where she wants to know love, was. Again, I'd like to reiterate, Rosa clearly had a boyfriend at some point. At least one, because, you know, she has a kid in the first place. And she was expecting the guy to stick around from her own dialogue, so she clearly had a serious relationship going on with someone at some point. When I realized my time was being filled with work and caring for my child, would I probably grow old and end my life still like this? Of course, I hate your real father too. So we both share the blame for that catastrophe. I might have been persistent enough to make him run away. The catastrophes after were all your fault? Okay. When did I ever scold you for that? Never, right? I don't know about that. The day after one man left me, when I wanted to drink myself dead drunk, was Parents' Day at school. I tried to hide my tear-stained eyes with heavy makeup. The way I felt when you said something off the mark and the whole class laughed at you. It's something that not only you, but probably everyone in the world couldn't understand. Hate you, I loathe you. And until now, I've never really loved you. Even once. Well, alright then. That is Holy crap. That's like, it's been like a 20-minute rant. That's brutal. Alright, Rosa. Maria's face was still stiff, and that's my reaction. I'm like, alright, Rosa. Alright, Rosa. I would have said calm down, but she's just still going, and it's escalating. I'm just like, I'm not giving any input to this. I'm just watching her go off, and I'm like, damn, alright, dude. Take a fucking chill pill, man. Like, calm the fuck down. Holy shit. That's intense. And with that intense scene that seems almost not over, I think we're gonna have to wrap this one up because it's getting pretty late.